Hello and welcome to another episode of the Vault Dwellers Podcast. We're now on episode 5. I am your host, MrMac, and with me, artist extraordinaire, co-host Gary Moore. Gary, Friday night, what's happening?
Friday night in episode 5, can you believe it? I'm
Crazy.
saying the right number this week, so that's not bad. That's a good start.
It feels a wee bit off, if I'm honest with you. I think I'd rather you were one behind every time. It'd be quite a nice gimmick. Nobody else does that,
Yeah.
Nobody else gets their episode wrong. We would be one of a kind if we done that.
But do want to be professional now, you know?
No, I think that's a gimmick people would get pretty sick of
Yeah.
very, very quickly. So, 4 episodes under the belt, the 5th one just kicking off. Pretty excited this week. It was probably one of the first ones actually on the list for us when we were brainstorming some topics back before episode 1. And obviously, that is going to be multiplayer gaming and all that entails. But before we get to that, if this is the first episode that you are listening to, if you found us clicking about on Spotify, Amazon Music, just for Gary Moore, we've got it on Amazon Music now, Apple Podcasts, and all across the YouTube and podcast world. We are the Vault Dwellers. This podcast is pretty much two friends just shooting the shit, to be honest with you. We've got two. I'm not holding back this week. There's swearing and everything in the intro. Two pals for Scotland, and we're basically covering anything, games, movies, the lot. We have a big list of topics to get to, and we are very excited. It's a 10-year dream in the making, and we're really, really excited to get this week's episode kicked off because it's a big video games topic, and we love our video games. Speaking of which, we do our opening segment here now. Start last week with what have we been playing. So, Gary, what you been playing?
So last time I was playing Phoenix Rising and I was playing Final Fantasy VII. So in the last 2 weeks, I have dropped Phoenix Rising,
Wow,
and
that's fast.
to be a surprise, I'm loving and playing Final Fantasy VII.
Wow. Now, is it
Which,
purely like dropped because you've been loving Final Fantasy so much that that's just taking over, like the other one just get kicked to the curb, or is it you've dropped it because you weren't really into it?
yeah, no, I don't think I was really into it. But I was kind of playing both to see what one would kind of take grip, and yeah, Phoenix Rising just wasn't taking it would just wasn't gripping me. It's all right. It's a passable game, you know. If you had a wee spare minute to play Phoenix Rising, you know, it's a right game. It's passable, but it's just I was playing it with Final Fantasy, and Final Fantasy just absolutely gripped me, and that's the game I want to play. So yeah, it just got totally kicked to the curb. Final Fantasy,
Nothing wrong with that, to be honest.
no, it's no. It's just that's what it is. You have to play what your heart tells you. Final Fantasy, I am so shocked that this game has gripped me because I thought last week, I think I was an hour in or something, the last time we were on this. So I would say it got to about the 3 hour mark and I was like, I'm still not enjoying this. And then like a half an hour later, it just all clicked, totally clicked with me. The combat clicked, the story was clicking, and I was like, this is great. Like, this is so good. The way I would describe it to people if they've never played a Final Fantasy, I'm sure most people have, but it's kind of like, I would say it's very like Yakuza, actually. And the way that it's got kind of long story beats, but also a lot of action in between it. It's like that, and it's kind of a wee bit like Devil May Cry, the combat. It's no maybe it's combo heavy and flinging and stuff like that, but no, it's really good. It's quite tactical. I was quite surprised how much tactics, because I know it's a tactics game like it used to be, but like the remake obviously lets you do the action. So I was quite surprised actually how much, even with some of the bosses and stuff, that you actually need to still do some of the tactics like healing yourself, and you know it's not just a case of just flinging potions and flinging magic at them. You actually need to work out like what's their weaknesses and you know whatever else. No, it's really good. I'm 15 hours in and I'm loving it. I can't wait to play some more of it. And another game that I'm playing in tandem is what's it called? Maneater. I nearly called it Hungry Shark there.
Hungry Shark and
Hungry
Maneater.
Shark. I know.
Right, okay.
So I'm playing Maneater. Do you know? it was Ryan Donnelly that was talking to us about it and saying he was playing it and he's quite enjoying it. It's all right. It's exactly what you would think it would be. You know, you're literally playing as a shark and you're just eating loads of stuff. It's
Not
all
wrong with
right.
that.
It's all right. I put it on for like a wee. I've got 15 minutes, and I know I've only got 15 minutes to play.
Aye.
That's the type of game I've just fling on, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm not really paying attention to what's happening. It's just go on and just play for a wee 15 minutes and mess about. But it's not a game that I'm sure I won't complete. But yeah, it's okay.
There's nothing wrong with getting games like that, especially these days. If it's a bit, was it a PS Plus game or that? Or?
It was on the PS. I've got PS Extra.
Right, okay, so you've no paid
So
anything for it. It's similar
no,
to like Games Pass and stuff, like clicking on a game and just playing a wee bit of it here and there, or hardly at all. There's no real loss in that. So I don't really see any issue with that. So I'm
yeah.
surprised that when you first mentioned that you were playing another game because you dropped one and you were so concentrating on that. But I see now that one's a very an infill game.
Yeah, definitely. That's kind of like where my sports game would usually be. it's just felt in with a wee man eater.
That's a staple for us, for myself
Yeah,
and Gary, as a wee sports number, because it does hook us and it keeps us going. Then every now and again we actually play real games. Shots fired. So for myself, I've actually, to be honest with you, probably since the recording, I've not played too much different from the last recording. It's really just Horizon Forbidden West. I actually said Zero Dawn, and I wanted to pull the audio clip and put a new one and go, correction, I actually did this, but I was like, I'm still just leaving that, just letting that go. I think I actually missed it. I think I missed it, or I heard it during the recording. I'm like, I am not recording myself saying Forbidden West. Like, I'm not getting into that. Just leave it, let it go, sure, let it go. Nobody's going to kill you. So I were playing Horizon. It's pretty good. I played a lot of it last week and done a lot of side quests and stuff. I'm finding it difficult though, not consistently playing it. There's a lot of systems in the game that I'm forgetting. So I've had to Google a couple of things that's really, really simple that you shouldn't really need to Google. But when I am starting to play it, and it's a nice flow to the game, and it's pretty good. It's good. Obviously, mechanics similar to the first game, but it's that disjointedness of my gaming again at times that it is a bit of puts me a bit of disadvantage. But during the week, I'm not really open to playing too much big titles or anything like that because I don't really get as much time by the time that we've kind of come home and had dinner and chilled out together, myself and the better half. So I tend just to play some other games. So streamed once or twice. Was trying to play some more SnowRunner, but lo and behold, it's true streamer fashion. I went to turn on the PC and nothing connected. The microphone wouldn't work, webcam wouldn't work. Eventually got it fixed. Audio wouldn't work. Eventually got that fixed. Xbox turned on, and the game that I wanted to play was the only game that needed an update. So I was back on Sea of Thieves. So I played Sea of Thieves once or twice actually in the last week. Once with Andy Mac on stream this week, and also with our hoodie actually, the week previous. So that was pretty good. Playing that with him on the Saturday night, pretty fun. Playing with somebody.
I don't know.
New to the game.
I don't know who would be more hazard in that game, Andy Mac or Hoodie.
I think uneducated to the game, Hoodie would be pretty hazardous. Andy Mac's experience probably like puts him just over the edge, but Hoodie being green at the time was more just keen on learning the systems there, so he kept himself pretty busy. He was actually just running about and doing everything, to be honest. It's quite a common theme when I'm playing that game with somebody. The other person just seems to go and do stuff and I'm just dancing and playing music.
The boat.
Aye, so it's pretty
Captain
good.
Sean.
Aye, I'm kind of happy enough with that. It's pretty good playing it. He did. I left him for 5-10 minutes. I come back and he'd sunk the ship, so it was good playing that with Hoodie. Good laugh.
What did he do? Did he burn it down?
No, I said to him, I says, look, don't crash. And he was like, right. And then I was looking at the screen and we were going to crash. And he's like, I know it looks like we're going to crash, but hear me out. And we crashed. And I'm like, right, okay, listen, I'll see you in 10 minutes. And I come back, and honestly, I'm not joking. I've had myself way down below so that if somebody did come to us, they could just shoot me and kill me. So I came back, and obviously they bought me the ships the first day fill with water. So I was underwater by the time I came back. And when I came to, I'm running about with this bucket, and he appears in front of me, but my headset's no sync checks. I'm turning it back on. And I come back on, I can just hear him like panicking and trying to like get, oh, we need to go back to where we were. Oh, we had stuff there and whatever else to try and get. And I'm like, that's dead age. And I get back. What happened? Turns out a big ship came and just set about him while after he'd finished his mission. So I got a taste of the old Sea of Thieves magic, and that it's a pure PvP game. So yeah, that's what I've been playing this week. It's been pretty fun, and in true fashion, the theme to this episode, it's been a few multiplayer games. What about yourself in terms of this episode? Are you looking forward to this one?
I know this is, as you say, this is an episode that we kind of straight away we just put out there because we have obviously we have a history together playing a lot of multiplayer games together. So it's an episode that we could say loads on. You know, this could be like a 5 hour episode if we really wanted it to be.
Behave yourself.
But yeah, no, it's an episode that it definitely needs to be done. You know, it's one of the ones that, as I always say, we're kind of still in that introductory kind of phase, and this is one that we just need to get out there because we've got so much to say about it. But yeah, I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to it.
yeah, that's the key. Is that we do have a lot of different games in probably different eras to cover over the years because we've had so many different experiences, whether it be online and the more kind of modern day or couch co-op was largely the initial kind of point of that.
Yeah.
But I thought we'd maybe start the episode just briefly because it's more, as I say, we both two is kind of agreed that we wanted to focus more on the games we played together because there is so much. But in terms of growing up and that, what kind of memories do you have in terms of playing games when you were growing up? You know, when you were wee. Obviously, you had a kind of different setup for mine. I was a bit older when I started kind of playing games with other people outside of playing with my dad or that. But with two older brothers and I probably, like I said, Ryan, who probably played games and stuff. You maybe had a few options for playing some couch co-op back in the day.
Yeah. I always remember we used to always play like used to play like Sonic and like that really early, you know. But I
Aye.
used to be the person that get the piss took out of them, you know. Being the child, it'd be
Aye,
like
I'm with you.
my shot would be like a minute, and
Aye.
my brother's shot would be about 15 minutes.
Yep.
They would get 15 minutes each, and I would be like, yes, I get a controller and die straight away. And it's like
Yep.
that's smashing.
Aye.
So yeah, I've got a lot of memories like that. Kind of my first earlier kind
It's
of
only fair
games.
though, Gary. It's only fair that you if you die, you die. That's it. That was the rules.
Well, that was the rules back then, you know. And as I said, just being the youngest and most inexperienced, just that came back and bit you in the arse. Kind of earlier games I think about really kind of playing with people. It was more like WWE or WWF at the time and stuff.
Aye, that's
Again, you
weird.
know,
Mine's the same.
I just used to get battered again. You know, half
Mm-hmm.
my big brothers in that
Mm-hmm.
game. I would just be sitting there, just getting leathered and not even putting a punch in.
Aye.
But it's just kind of, it's mostly sport games really. Actually, it's probably my earliest memories are kind of co-op.
Yeah.
I don't,
My cousin
you
was
know,
the same, by the way, when with the WWE thing, or as you say WWF or CW, whatever back in the day. We played it on the Nintendo, and it'd be him and his mate, and like they would go and get weapons for the crowd and all that, and I'd just be running about not knowing what to do because
yeah,
they were just scalping me with this, and there was this thing, there was a guy, one of his pals, and his name was Brini was his name, right? And it would be my cousin would go and get this bin, and he was like, "Oh, it's Brini's house," and the boy hated it with a passion, man. Like honestly, it gets so raging. And I thought it was really funny, so he used to grab it and go, Brini's house today, Brini, or he'd with a bin. Oh, it's too funny, like to get pure raging about it. It was honestly, it's class, man. Like just the stupid wee memories. Then I think the only other game me and him played was Worms Armageddon back in the day. That was the only one that the two of us kind of played like that.
I think Worms is one for me and my brother as well. He used to be a big Worms fan, and I was the exact same. You know, he'd be actually playing it like tactically, and I would be throwing a grenade that would just bounce straight back down to my wee guy that just threw it. You know, and I'd blow myself
Aye,
up.
aye,
But do you know?
the wee tiny bit of dirt that would come back.
Aye. Do you know what the thing is? Like, do you know in the days, even if you were just playing, and as you said, like in like wrestling, you'd just be walking about. It's not even like you're actually even fighting. But you know, it was just fun when you were that
Aye,
age.
aye,
You never even bothered. You didn't care that
no,
you were losing. Didn't care about these silly things that happened to you. You just used to laugh it off.
aye,
Nowadays,
aye.
you'd be
Take me
raging.
back. Yeah, I used to just hide. Like I used to get the wee blowtorch and go and like dig myself into the
Aye,
ground, like just to
aye,
try and hide, or like try and get as high as possible. Like even playing against the computer, that's all I did. Was like, I even growing up, I knew what the game was. I knew what we were supposed to do, but I genuinely just used to try and like climb my way up because the computer wasn't clever enough to figure it out. So I would like just get so high and
aye,
then start shooting away the bit I used to try and get up. And then they wouldn't be able to come up and get me. And eventually the map would start rising and they would or start sinking, whatever. And they would die. And that's how I'd win. That is so stupid that you would play
yeah,
games
yeah.
like that back then because you would never do that now.
No, no, no. Another games are kind of like racing games for my other brother. We always used to play racing games together. I always remember like it wasn't even I would say early, but throughout my like entire life, basically we used to play like the rally games and Formula One games, and I actually can't remember like WRC games used to let you play two player, but like in a proper season, like so you could go one car and whoever you could go Subaru and he could go like the other team, like so
All right.
it was a pretty good two player, and that was early. That was pretty early, I would say. That was definitely like
All
PS2. So that he just used to scalp me all the time as usual. You know,
right.
he'd be putting in like I'd be about 15 minutes in front of me and all that, and I'd be like, oh, all right, whatever. And I would be like going the wrong way in the track, or just my car would be in bits by the end of it. You know, it's got like three wheels and stuff like
He's
that.
making the tweaks, like the manual tweaks to his car and all that, like getting it all
Exactly.
like set up properly. You're
Aye,
like, hey, I'll take the red one.
aye. What's the fastest? That's that. That was all I was concerned.
He's taking the handling and he's putting you to shame.
Aye.
No, I quite like that, and I liked racing games as well. We played, we only really played a few, probably like it's not the same, like say kart racing, the whole kind of Mario Kart deal. Me and my dad played that for a bit. He used to beat me quite bad actually at that game. So I would try and put it on the battle like mode, like rather than the racing mode.
Yeah.
About look at this, look at this, whatever. And he started kidding on the the sore heat with that kind of level, so we could only play the racing one. But that's not true. He just wanted to win. I know that for a fact, right? But other than that, I think I mentioned it in the first episode. But we did play, like say, tennis and things like that together
Yeah.
quite a
Yeah.
lot actually. We would be playing. I'd be playing the computer, and he would come in on like a Friday or a Saturday night. And he'd be like, "Look in the room." He's like, "Set it up." That's all I would say. Set it up. Well, all right. They come in and we play it for a couple of hours. It was brilliant, man. Or a Sunday,
Yeah.
He'd be hanging on the couch, and I'd bring the PlayStation in and get it all set up and that. But that was back in the day. But I just wanted to kind of briefly go over some of the stuff.
Yeah.
I think the only other game I played outside of that was LMA. Me and
That's exactly what I
good
was
friend
thinking
of mine
actually.
played that co-op. That was
Yeah.
pretty good. We never ever did it in the same. I don't think we ever did it in the same league right enough. We always usually kept it. I always just went Celtic to be honest, and he would usually
Aye.
go in the EPL or in Spain or something like that. But aye, pretty cool. I quite like LMA. I actually would love it if they brought that back because I don't know. It's just a fine. I don't know. Probably a fine memory more than anything else.
No, it's LMA's. Me and my brother, we used to do the same. We would actually go in the same league. I think we used to always go in I think it was the Italian league. One of us used to go Inter Milan, and one used to go AC Milan.
Nice, nice.
But I have great memories of LMA as well. LMA was a great game back in the day. it was like far beyond what it should have been by that stage.
Aye,
I love it. As you said, it's just so good. It's just such good memories. Just you would sink like a full day and night into that game. It would go so
aye.
quick.
Oh, you could,
But
you could.
it's
We would
great, man.
lose like full weekends. I would go on the Friday and came in the Sunday, like, and it would be honestly, it would just be like I was only there for like 2 minutes. It was
Aye,
absolute
aye,
madness. But we didn't really play much else other than that. I can't really think. There's loads of things that's coming to my mind, like GoldenEye and that back in the day with the Nintendo
yeah,
64. We played a lot of that, but we didn't play it properly. We didn't play it properly though. We played hide and seek with it. So like one person
yeah,
would hide because the doors, you shoot and the doors go up. So you could like put the doors up and down, and then one person, but obviously because you could see the person who was hiding had to like point the camera like somewhere that you couldn't see where it was that they were, and
yeah,
then the other person would have to go and get them. Just stupid things because I
yeah,
wasn't very good at
yeah.
the game, and my cousin was really good at the game. So, it's the stuff. It's just what you said earlier. The daft things you just play it, and it's just fun. Like I'm sure
That's it.
he hated it when I went around and wanted to play hide and seek on GoldenEye when he just wanted to go outside or something or actually play, a shooter. But I wanted it a wee bit easier than that.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but talking shooters. Obviously, we probably I'd say we maybe started playing the PlayStation together. Really, about obviously the PS3 era, as we covered in the first episode of the podcast. We were talking about um, we first started speaking together because you had the PS3 and we were kind of talking about FIFA and that. But our obviously our gaming history didn't necessarily start on the PS2, but it eventually got there. You remember
yeah,
this better than I do, so why don't you take
yeah.
this one?
I've very fond memories of this. This was one of the ones I actually I thought about it straight away when we were talking about doing it this week. I actually think we were actually working at this point, so it was later on.
Yeah,
And me and Sean were talking about Desert Storm. Just talk about multiplayer games and stuff like that. I think we had played quite a lot by that point, and we were just thinking about games to play. And Sean was like, "Oh, Desert Storm! Remember Desert Storm back in the day?" And I was like, "I love Desert Storm as well." So Mr. Mac, being an absolute genius at the time, was like, "I've still got a PS2 like in my house," and he went and bought a copy of Conflict Desert Storm 1 and Conflict Desert Storm 2. And we played one, obviously first. So it was we were staying at Sean's mum and dad's house after work on a Friday night, and we just sat and played Conflict Desert Storm, and it was so good. It was amazing. I've got so see we've talked about a lot of this co-op stuff. It's the memories of like having you at my mum and dad's house, or you coming or me coming to your mum and dad's house, and it's good memories, and I just always remember your mum coming in with a pure scran in the morning, even scran at night and scran in the morning. She always just came out with just pure huddles of food, man. It was pure like a plate full of
aye,
food, a mountain of food.
she was
Brilliant.
good at that. She was good at that. She loved a good wee a mixed freezer grill. I mean,
Uh,
like it's just a scran for
uh,
the freezer, just a different group and the things just flung on a
uh,
plate, and the two of us,
it's funny because we
great
used to
man.
be like, we obviously were working by then, so we'd be like, oh, we just get a takeaway, right? And I would always be like, Sean, can your mum just make stuff? Because she just always just makes huddles, and it's always good.
Aye, she's a dab hand at the breakfast and all, so aye,
She's,
pretty good. That I do like that, and that was a good early memory for me as well. We having kind of friends around and that and playing games because I could play. Honestly, I could play games for hours between this and like say Dynasty and stuff like that in the PS2 era. That was probably a big PS2 split screen game. Dynasty
Mhm.
Warriors was perfect for that, but Conflict was brilliant. I really actually would love if they would do something else in that space again because there is room for it. That tactical approach to things. There's games there that do it, but they just don't do it as well as
No,
this,
no.
where it's just mission based. Like I see the merit in these open world games, but they're no for me. I think if when you make it mission based and just make it a lot more controlled, it's just a lot. I don't know, you can do a lot more. There's a lot more to it, and you
Yeah.
can do a lot more kind of set pieces and stuff for it. And I don't know, it speaks to me a wee bit better.
Yeah, I think see with that type of game as well, because the four guys, the four wee soldiers had like the ains, like one was the sniper, one was the assault rifle guy. It was good, and you got two of them, so you got two each, which
Aye,
was great as well because you had to talk with tactics. It was like, oh, there's a guy up here. What do we do? Do we go this way? Do we go that way? And we would try and do it as sneaky as possible. I'm not sure that it was like 100% stealth game. I think it was just kind of like there would be three or four guys in like this one area, and you just have to try and take them out, but try to take them out tactically, or else it would all just go mental.
yeah, I think you're right. Because we obviously used to we would approach every game like that. I know that we're probably jumping about in time, but it just makes me think about the Rainbow Six
Yep,
games because we played them so closely to each other in that style where obviously when you're trying to go into a room in Rainbow Six, like no Vegas or that, but uh, or Siege. Sorry, I should say that the earlier games, you're approaching a room and it's all right. You take this door and I'll take this door, and you like queue up the guy and you do different things
yep,
and
yep,
use the spy camera and look through this and peek through the peephole. Like you could do a mission and you could be on that mission for like a good hour, and we would just try and get it so that it'd be like, right, this is the best like stealth option that we can do for this bit, and
yeah,
then
yep,
and then if the open gunfight didn't go well, and the next bit it'd be like, right, let's go and do this bit again, and you would run the exact same tactics to get into that first room, except you wouldn't need to speak. It'd be like clockwork, just in terms
yeah.
of like, right, you ready? Right, go, and then you would throw the flashbang in, and you would do whatever it is that you want to do. I think that's that kind of game I really missed. I don't really know if there's a market for it now, but I would play it.
Aye, no, I would as well. I don't know if there'll be a big market for it. I'm not sure there was a big market even back then, but
No,
but no, it's
I
it's
know.
something it's something I feel like is missing. There's, as you say, there's a lot of games that kind of do it, but it's not really. It's not the same. Um, I think that there's still a lot of them nowadays. They just want a lot of action, and fair enough because people just don't have the time or patience for that kind of stuff anymore. I actually think maybe even now we maybe do not have any patience for it anymore.
I think you're
Because
right,
it
to be
was
honest.
it was a shock when I went back to the new Hitman games, and it was like, oh wait, you actually need to follow this guy for like 20 minutes and know what even do it. And I was like, this is a big learning curve to go back to.
Aye. Aye, we're used to things happening so much quicker now, I guess. Especially, a lot of the PvE stuff that we've played, it's no stealth. I mean, even back in the day, it wasn't really stealth focused. I think about like say Armia 2, when we
Hmm.
played them, they deserve, to be honest, we could probably do a full podcast on Armia 2. I don't really know if we went back and played the first one together. I'm not entirely sure if
I
we
think we
did
did.
that. Did we
I
go
think we did.
back?
Aye.
I couldn't remember because I really liked that. It was a really, really good game. I first kind of played it with another friend of mine, and it was still good. But that co-op experience, where you working through the games was just class. I could we ended up. I think we ended up just we played it. I think we ended up doing like the same. We were running the same missions again and things like that, so we could get like all the gold guns and that. Remember that?
Aye, we were. Aye, actually, if there was a platinum trophy, we'd have got it back in the days for that game. We played.
You,
We played the
you're
game.
probably right. I feel
We played.
cheated now.
Aye, definitely. You should. Let's contact Sony after this. We won an Army of Two platinum for both of us.
I feel so
Um,
cheated.
Honestly, we played that game inside out. You knew every step, and every mission. No, it was so good. I actually love Army Two. I wish that is something that EA would bring back.
Aye.
Um, I wish that was actually one of the things I wrote down for my prediction list.
All
And then
right.
I took it away because I was like, I want a better prediction than that.
Aye.
But Army of Two, I've got so much fun memories of Army of Two, and I always think, oh, it'd be good to go back to, but would I actually?
I was just thinking about it there as well because I was like, oh, that'd be really good if it was like a game on the PlayStation, that extra or whatever it is,
Yeah,
the one that gets you the PS3 games and stuff. Because I think it was a PS3 game,
yeah, I think it was.
and I think I honestly, I'm the same as you. I'd be like, oh, do you know what? We should should go back and play this, but I don't know if like the graphics would be great or
Yeah,
would
yeah,
it actually be like anywhere near decent. I don't
yeah.
know, man. It's sometimes things are best left as memories.
Definitely. The good thing about Army 2 is, but it was like you kinda no we kind of role played in the characters, like, and it was a good like comedy game as well. Although it had serious kind of tones, but the guys weren't too serious with each other. And they used to like, and the loading screens and stuff like that, like they would be trapping each other up and just like goofing about. And it was good. And we would always be like, "Oh, what mask are you wearing? What mask am I wearing? What guns are you taking? What guns am I taking?" It was slight tactics, but they didn't really matter because it was kind of the Bayfies were playing aggro really anyway.
Aye. It was really only like when it was like forced
Yeah,
that you had to like get the distraction like off the other person. Like, would you actually like go right? Okay, you stop shooting for a wee bit, and then I'll take all the heat and let you sneak around. Like other if it wasn't like a forced situation, we pretty much just stuck to like I'm right. You take the left side, and I'll take the right side on it.
yeah, yeah. Do you know what the game that actually kind of reminds me of, like what it felt like was It Takes Two. I felt like that was quite close to Armia 2. No,
Aye.
like shooting and stuff like that.
No,
But I
aye,
mean, like
obviously.
that. I mean, the actual like it would be like, oh, you want to come and help me push this door, or want to come and help me do this kind of thing. It was quite good for that.
Aye.
And that's what It Takes Two kind of reminds me of, in some of the wee aspects. But
Aye, that's a good shout actually.
Armia 2's got a place in my heart. It's a game that we definitely bonded there, and aye, yeah, bring it back. You heard it here first.
You did hear it here first. It was pretty much perfect for us. It was short enough that because we used to obviously play if this I'd come into yours or vice versa or whatever early on the Saturday, and we'd just play until the wee hours of the Sunday morning,
Yeah.
just trying to kind of beat games or do whatever, and that was that's probably one of the first um, memories of trying to play the kind of games because for me you because I love co-op games, but that game I'm with you, it's a special memory. Especially I
Yeah,
don't know what
yeah,
it is about the guns. I don't know what it is, but that was probably one of the only times I was like really into the cosmetics yet because it's that third person like
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know, it just made you feel like that was your character.
Definitely, definitely. Aye, the guns, customizing the guns and customizing your, as I said, like your mask and stuff like that. It was brilliant. That was honestly, I love it. I love it. But the only thing is, could you imagine it bring back nowadays? It'd be like 85 hours long.
Aye, be open world and everything would cost money and you'd have
Yeah.
to pay extra for special masks and no thank you. That's exactly what it would be. There's no
Yeah,
doubt about it. Like it
yeah,
wouldn't be in game money or you'd have to play for 200 hours just to get a gold gun.
yeah,
But short experiences would be is the thing that me and you kind of shown most on, and it's weird, but there's just so much a link between that game and another game on the list there that kind of Kane and Lynch games. Like I don't think of anybody else other than yourself when it comes to Kane and Lynch because I had never heard of the game before.
yeah, yeah. It was quite an obscure game. I'm not sure if it actually bombed or no. I'm not 100% sure. But it wasn't a game that everybody was talking about, and probably for good reason. Really, it's not great, but again, it just fit into that mold of us just wanting to play a co-op game together.
Was there two of them?
Yes, I think we didn't play the second one. I did have it, but I don't think we ever played it.
All right,
We definitely played and completed the first.
right, okay.
But I don't know. I think the second one was even worse than the first one.
Oh,
Um,
ouch.
but I know it was actually quite a good game. I actually did quite remember a lot of it. It was very like Reservoir Dogsy kind of game, and it was
Mm.
good.
It reminds me of very much of that game. What's the one it's not like It Takes Two, but it's that split screen. You're escaping the prison.
Oh, A Way Out. Aye, it was like A Way Out.
Aye,
Aye,
that's what it kind of makes me think of. If I think of A Way Out, I do generally think about that game. It was pretty good when you look back at it. Because again, it's situations, it's mission based,
yeah,
something that you just don't get now. Just these things, breaking into the banks or whatever it was you did. I can't even remember what the
yeah.
bulk of that game was, but I think that's one of the things that you did. I
Yeah,
don't really
yeah, no,
remember.
there was definitely a bank mission. I think it was something to do with like one of the guy's daughters gets kidnapped or something, and the both yous are convicts, so he's maybe helped each other break out of prison or something. I can't really remember,
I
but
know, I'm saying it's
um,
one of the things you're like, oh, it was brilliant, but you don't remember what it was about.
I it's just me. It's just thinking about the gunplay and the tactics. I remember there was like a scene that you were in like a diner and there was just police like all outside and it was just literally like shooting everywhere. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, it was like trying
Aye,
to get away from the police. But
aye.
aye, no, it was again. It just fit into that perfect time for us. We were just looking for co-op games to play, and that just fit right in.
I enjoyed that. It's pretty it's pretty funny, man. When you think back at the stuff that you used to play, because I don't know, I don't even really know. I mean, because of the way we play games now, I'm not even really sure what it would take for us to buy and play one of these games
Hmm.
again, especially with the fact that it works for a way out where it's one person just has to buy the game, the other person just downloads like a pass or whatever. That's pretty good. That's a thing. But I think if it wasn't for that, I think I don't really know if like I would have played that game. Just
Yeah,
for because there's two people would have to buy it, and the experience just I don't know for the sake of 8 hours, which I don't know if it would really work, but because we don't really play games, I mean, now we play them on like a Friday night or whatever, but 4 hours is nothing.
no,
If you even get
no.
4 hours, because the time you come on, it's really three, if that,
Mhm.
and you can't really do that weekly. So I think as much as we dream for days of old, I can't really
Yeah.
see past that, you know.
Yeah, I say that a couple of podcasts ago, but like Outriders is a game that I thought, do you know, that could be a Sean and Gary co-op game, but do you know, it's a game that I'm just, as you said, I'm just like, do we actually have the time to even play this? Um, I look at it and I'm like, this looks cool and it's a shooter and it's like quite good, but I'm just like, oh, I don't know, I just don't know. As you said, like playing it so sporadically for 3 hours, maybe once a week if we're lucky. I
Aye,
just don't know. I don't know if it would work anymore.
no, it's the fear of progressing without the other person, and then it just
Yeah,
all kind of getting ruined. And we did really well with when we played the division, which we'll come to later. We did really well getting to where we did with that
mm,
game. Given the way that we kind of played it, making sure we didn't go too far. But before we travel into the future, I think one of the biggest things that we bonded over is probably our love for the old FIFA.
yeah, yeah. FIFA would be a big top player in this list. FIFA is a game that I like everybody, mostly in Glasgow, likes football. Like FIFA is a staple in your house, isn't it?
Aye,
And it's a game that we bonded over. It's great. It's a great game to play. It's a two-player, especially couch co-op or something like that, because it's such a. You're playing a team game. You have to literally have the other person playing, and they need to be on their best form. They need to be looking for you to score and stuff. It's a total team game, right down to
aye.
its core.
I loved that. See, like we would like pick a team. I think we went Hibs
That's right.
and in the Scottish Premier League, and it was brilliant. See, just like signing different players and getting to play as co-op in the same team. I don't know, man. It was just I'd done it, before, but but it was usually like say like the Euros or something like that we would
Yeah,
play, myself and Michael. But that's the kind of games that we would maybe go to, other than playing like LMA and stuff. That's the kind of one we would play. But I just loved playing the. I don't think I've ever had a better season than that first season we played with Hibs.
yeah, no, it's great. I think me and you, like when we're together, we just like as like this podcast goes, we could just talk pure shite for ages.
Aye,
Um, so it just multiplies with that with FIFA because we just used to make wee stories up about the people as well. Used to buy people and like call them wee nicknames, and
aye,
we would score with them and we'd be like, "Oh, this is our main man. He's going to score every game," and we would try to score with this one guy and. We'd be like, "Oh, he's a top signer," and all that. And I always remember a season we did with Liverpool, and we bought a striker, and he was rubbish, and we just couldn't score with him. And
aye.
Andy Carroll was on the
That's it.
bench, and
Aye,
we're not playing him, we're not playing him. When we played him, we kept scoring with him like every single game. We went
aye.
every time we came on. We're like, Andy
Aye.
Carroll.
Aye. We were so in denial for ages. About playing him. We're like, no, there's no play. Was it no Kiesling or whatever it was that we signed?
Aye, that's right, that's right.
And we just couldn't score for love nor money with him. I don't know what it was. It was just maybe a wee in the back of our heads. We're like, we've got Andy Carroll, and we should really be playing him. Like, aye, I've added something there, kind of last minute to the list. Before we press on and age ourselves up in this conversation here, where I've put in there Bad Company and Two Consoles. Do you remember that when we first got? I think it was Bad
Yeah,
Company 2, and we
yeah,
the two is bought that. And I thought it was the birth of having two consoles, but I don't remember much more games that we played with two consoles in the same house. I just don't remember. I can't think. We obviously did, but I just don't
yeah.
remember
I
what
don't
games we
know.
played. I've no idea. I
No,
know sometimes we played different games, but I just don't remember what it was that we mostly played in the same house but in separate machines. I've no idea, but I know I took my PlayStation years a lot.
aye, aye. No,
I just
I remember how like having two PlayStations here and stuff like that. But no, I don't know what we were playing. We
no.
probably playing Call. We ended up probably playing Call of Duty or something like that.
That's probably what it was. I
Probably
just
was.
can't think. I honestly can't think. I know that
Yeah,
it wasn't FIFA that, but I remember Bad Company, and I remember because it was brilliant. But although I know that at the time, obviously, we didn't have quite the life of luxury that we have now, and these big fancy TVs. With your TV, you had a nice big TV and a spare big TV, but it was a big TV, like a
yeah.
deep. That thing had a booty on it, man, and we
Aye,
had to
aye,
carry it from like one room to the other. And you couldn't see properly on it. You couldn't read the text properly on it.
aye. That's right.
We were trying to play these Bad Company games and stuff. So
It was
I
about
do remember that one.
164 pixels probably in that
Aye,
telly.
aye, or on the outside, but it was so good though playing games like that. I generally probably don't have much in the way of memories for Bad Company. I only have one or two, even like core Battlefield memories. I don't
Yeah,
even
yeah,
know if it was even a game that we played all that much together. I know the
I think,
destructive
aye,
buildings was the thing that hooked
yeah,
us, but it was at the time probably before we were ready to kind of make that jump into
yeah.
the online shooter kind of stuff on it.
Yeah, I think that maybe what started us. I think
Possibly, aye,
I think
aye,
like, I can remember playing Battlefield with us, me and you, and I just remember because it was a big map and stuff like that, and it was like people were sniping you from across it, and we were like, what do you even do in this? Like,
aye, aye.
I've never played against another person before in a first person shooter, and I'm just getting absolutely owned. I always remember the planes. We didn't know how to
Oh,
fly them, and we just kept
aye.
flying them into the water and stuff
Aye.
like that.
I'm gonna play it, I'm gonna play it. It was like pure buzzing. Like, oh, I'm gonna play. Where are you? I'm gonna play one. And it's like I would turn around and it would just be like right after the side. That's a plane despawn for like fucking 10 minutes in game. Like, we're like, right, we should just stay away from them. We shouldn't go anywhere near them. They just should let us be flying them. But I loved that game, and
Yeah.
it was pretty good, and it did spawn probably a big love for us in terms of first person and shooters and that, which is probably one of our biggest kind of games that we played a lot of when we were probably at work, actually, in terms of,
Yeah.
getting home for work, and we were still staying with our mums and dads and stuff, so you could actually get down out the road and get logged in. But really can't remember the first Call of Duty game that we played. Genuinely, don't think I really remember it. One of the Modern Warfare's maybe, but
It
I'm
was
not sure.
definitely a Modern Warfare.
That's just straight up Modern
It
Warfare, wasn't
was. I think it was the one with the terminal in it, because I remember
it?
planes.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
the
I do
one with the
remember
terminal that was in it.
that. Aye,
But
that was pretty cool. I enjoyed that.
yeah, we were called daft, man. As everybody was back in the days. It just
Mm-hmm.
that was well, perfect time, perfect place,
Aye.
and we played COD constantly, and we got good at it. I'd say I would think. I know we weren't like champion level,
Oh,
but we
I
got
see.
really good at it.
We weren't like competitive like now, like the way
No,
people are, but we were
yeah,
always like, if we were on the top of the table, we were only far off it.
no, we were always like second or third, or, like as you say, tap second or third, always
Aye.
constantly.
Obviously, with other kind of people playing with us as well. We'd obviously our friend Ross, and I can't even remember
Yeah,
if Ryan played with us at all,
I'm not sure.
because he was more kind of Xbox. I
Yeah,
only really remember him being PlayStation when it comes to the PS4, which we'll
yeah,
get to
there's a
later.
lot.
But I just remember just stupid things like say search and destroy, obviously, and Gary's
Yeah,
already laughing. But we obviously, people who maybe played the older Call of Duty games will remember that there was no such thing as party chat back then. It was just
mhm.
in game chat, and the games were pretty good. At like if you're playing search and destroy, and one person get killed, that you wouldn't hear them anymore. And if you get killed and somebody else was alive, you would then start to be able to hear the other person, but know the person that was still playing. So you knew that they were both watching you play, and you were like, it was just one of the things you're like, oh, I really need to suck this up and do my best moves. And one of our friends like was running about the map, and like he ran into a closed door, and the two of us just busted laughing and just continued to laugh like all the way until he died. And then he obviously died. The two of us just busted laughing again. He's like, "Oh, did you see that?" We're like, "Aye, of course I really saw it, man." And we bring it up all the time. And it's just absolutely perfect. Like he could have clinched the rest of that game, and we still would have laughed at him for running into that door. Just stupid things you do, innit?
Yeah, see, you'll never feel the anxiety of search and destroy. You'll never
Oh,
get that now. You
no,
can't
no,
recreate that. But
no.
that back in the days, man, it was your
Mhm.
anxiety was through the roof, and it was like,
Aye,
you are the last one. You're like,
aye.
no.
Hold on a minute, I never signed up for this.
Hearing that briefcase, just hearing that
Aye,
you're listening, you just knew somebody was. You're like, oh no,
aye.
here we go, fight zone.
Aye, I don't even know. I
Brilliant,
don't
man.
remember the last time I played a Call of Duty game, but obviously it's Warzone's a kind of big ticket item at the minute now. But
Yeah,
I get a good buzz out of playing COD. We used to play that, as you say, religiously,
yeah,
and I tended to like, right, I'm not playing Search and Destroy as much because I don't know. I wanted to chill out side of it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like playing. And listen, I managed to get like, oh, I've had a taste of my medicine. Put it this way. I don't know if you were about. In fact, it might have been obviously when I started playing play Call I played it quite a bit, and the social butterfly that I am, met a group of
A
boys from
cult.
England through it, the cult, the guys who anointed me as MrMac back in the day. That's where I got my name from, was playing with these guys. And honestly, like obviously you played with us, but some of the guys were ridiculously
Nah,
good.
you're amazing. You're amazing.
And we were playing against this group of guys, and it was clearly like guys who were working all week and they just wanted to chill out and play games, and they were like, it was like a Friday night or a Saturday night or something, and they just want to chill out, and we were absolutely just clowning them, like just absolutely running riot with them, and they were raging, man. But because obviously back in the day you couldn't hear each other until like till you're about to go back in the game. So it's like
That's
between the
right. Yep.
lobbies, and it was so funny, man. They're like, "Oh man, chill out." We're like, "Oh, fucking get good," and all that. Like, see now, like I hate playing against other people. Like, don't want to hear them. I want a party chat. I want it so that I can't hear any other players. Like, I don't want anybody. I don't like hearing any other player celebrating that they've beat me, man. So I would just throw the W at the pram. Like, oh, hated it, man. Absolutely hated
Aye.
it. But back in the day, it was just so sweet to get bet because you were playing it all the time, like you say. I mean, God,
Aye,
remember that
aye.
time we were off on holiday for work?
Yeah, we played it like, I don't know if we were off for a week or two, but we played it the full time we were off.
Aye,
Like
because
literally
obviously
like
the
10
kids.
o'clock in the morning till
Aye,
about 9 o'clock at night we were playing
aye,
this. Maybe a break in to have your dinner, but we were literally putting shifts in that game
aye. We
for
prestiged like
months.
rapid
Aye, aye.
on it, and then we because that was the because I used to get we used to get it. One person would buy the game and then just give the codes out to the other people so they could get all the maps, so we didn't need
That's
to
right,
like
for the
everyone
DLC.
everyone had to pay it. So aye, that was back in the day. But you could actually do that kind of thing. So
Yeah, yeah,
we were right in about that.
yeah. I
But
actually have a lot of good memories of the. It was one of the World War Two. I can't remember what it was called. World of
mhm,
War, maybe or something like that. One of that
possibly.
Call of Duty. Because they had replay. They had the replay hanging it.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
it was so good. How many
yeah,
times me and you would be like sending each other replays and stuff like that, or
aye,
like you'd be throwing your knife as soon as you started, and it would just smack somebody right in
aye.
the dome. You know?
That's what I was thinking about the throwing the knife thing. Do you remember that one? I got the guy that was running across the bridge and he ran it
Aye, aye,
behind the bushes and there was like an opening in the bushes and I just threw it towards the opening and I actually killed the guy. Like
aye,
I remember just going, yes! Like I was pure
aye.
buzzing. I was like, I have to send this to Gary because it was
That's actually the
perfect.
one I was remembering. Actually,
Was it?
that was the one I was remembering. No,
I always
I
like to
was
give
really
that
good.
memory to the remember that I think that was the year you could do the custom like 40s and people would just
Yep,
do like the most inappropriate
yep.
stuff. Like it was
Nah,
like
but
the
big
worst.
willies and stuff like that. Aye,
I
it was
just
really
I
bad.
off. I remember like I went and done like was it Stewie for Family Guy? I looked up a hang and made like Stewie, and then this guy seen like my icon, and he was like they were like pure shouting abuse and that at me because I'd got the same icon as him. I'm like, you didn't make Stewie. You're not. I mean, you never made him. You don't own him. Just stupid things that people used to try and
Yeah.
argue with. It was really weird. But it just even at that time when we took that time off on holiday, like, we prestiged that quite because we were that good at the game that we were like, right, we need to start doing like these challenges. Remember, we were like, oh, let's just
Uh-huh.
only use an Uzi, and you would
Yep.
just use an Uzi for ages, and you end up getting to the point that you were actually really fucking good with an Uzi.
Aye, aye. No, no, that is. We just put so much time, as you said, we just put so much time into doing everything in that game because these challenges were all different. That you just became so professional with every single weapon, and then you end up
Aye,
getting like Kimbo shotguns and stuff like
oh
that,
man,
and
I forgot about
and
them.
they were just totally OP, and you were just running about with two shotguns for most of it.
Aye,
But no, it was brilliant time. I mean, nowadays, nowadays I think people are like, "Oh, Call of Duty," but see if I was like 14-year-old again, and well, see my son's like 14 years old, and he's like, "I got to play Call of Duty." I'm like, "On you go," because
aye,
I had some
right
I
on.
had some of my best memories of playing
Aye,
that game,
aye,
and I can totally see why you would play that game at that age because it's such a buzz when you're
aye.
just playing with all your pals and nah, but it's brilliant. I don't think I could play an FPS nowadays. I don't think I'm fast enough. I think I'm definitely not as good as games as what I used to be.
No, I'm
Um,
definitely not.
I remember playing like Apex Legend, and I was like, I just don't like. I can't turn as quick. Like I've just not got the same reflexes I used to have.
Mm.
Like when we used to play Call of Duty and we did no scopes and all that. Like
I remember that.
360 no scopes and stuff, and you'd be like,
Aye,
it's no bother. Nowadays, I'm lucky if I even have a sniper rifle equipped at the time.
I don't. It's not worth it. I just want any of the ones that shoot loads of bullets really
I
fast. That's
spray
what I
and
want.
pray. That's it.
Aye. I want an assault rifle and a light machine gun so that when the assault rifle runs out, I've got that other one to remove to because that's literally what it's all about. And
That's it.
honestly, the love for first person shooters back in the day was just we played it for years.
Aye, no, we did. I think we played every Call of Duty. We played at least probably 4 or 5 of them, definitely.
Hmm.
Um, like that was mad. We probably played Call of Duty when we were about 15 to about early 20s, definitely. Every single year, and played loads of it. But yeah, do you know, it was a game that kind of led us into another game as well, which was Mag, and I know we've got a lot to say about Mag.
Oh,
Um,
could probably do another one of the games that you could probably do an entire podcast on. But you know
yeah,
what's funny? Because I think it was really. I know I don't want to take credit for it because it's not really. But I remember I played it a lot when it first came out.
yeah,
But they usually played it. Actually, I don't know what made us go back and try it. I think maybe just something that you just fancied trying it one day, but I don't think it clicked properly for me the first time. More than likely because there was nobody else playing it, but
yeah.
I think when the two is then thought, no, we'll try this out. That's when it really that's when it got good.
Yeah, no, do you know what I think it was? I think there was a time that I was like, "Oh, it's my God Cod," and when it first came out, it wasn't where it was at the end. Obviously, it must have had updates and stuff like that, but it just wasn't the same. And I was just kind of stuck to COD, but maybe I got bored of COD, and I was like, let's go for Mag. But no,
Aye,
you're right. The first time I played that, I never played for long, but the second time we played it, oofed, my God, we played this game every day religiously and became so good at it.
aye,
Pretty quickly,
aye.
I'd say as well.
Yeah, I would say that it's weird because it's not a game that's because you go for COD and it's like high polish graphics, all about the guns in your face, blah blah blah. But when you turn to Mag, it was so much more than that in terms of you really, really had to work as a team, and if you
Yeah,
didn't, it just wasn't really worth playing. And
no,
it was one of the games that we, when we kind of realised that, we then started to quickly get really into it, and it was almost like what you see in the commercials if I'm an American, and the and the trailers and stuff, like when people are doing like demos and it's like,
yeah,
right, go here and attack here, like
yeah,
that's what we were doing. We were running like the full things because we were
yeah.
playing the game that much. We were that good at it that we were rarely a time that we were just a foot soldier. We were always like a team leader or a squadron leader or
Commanders.
whatever,
Yeah,
commanders, like
yeah,
just running, calling different things, calling different threats and stuff because we knew what we were doing
yeah.
each time. It was crazy.
Do you know what was amazing about that game? I think it was actually a game. It was maybe a wee bit before its time.
Oh,
Um,
aye,
Because do you know, like even like what we were talking about there, see, like when you're the commander, like you had a button that you could press and you could tell like all your people what to do.
aye.
So you maybe had a squad about, I don't know, I can't remember what the numbers were. It was like 150 each or something. It was something.
I think it
It
was
was
something
pretty
like that.
big.
I don't think
It was
anybody
pretty
will
big.
hang is forgetting the number, but it was pretty
It
pretty
was pretty big
massive.
for its time.
Aye,
Um, and say you had about 20 guys that you were in charge of, you could be like, right, go and do what he's wanting to be like, right, we're going to base A, that's where we're
aye,
going. And that
aye.
was it. Like, and everybody would
People would do
go.
it because
I
people
would
would
do
get
it.
raging if they don't. Because it's like, right, no, we need to get the objective, but the only way to get the objective, and it wasn't like you were trying to just get kills. Like you were trying to win the game every time. So
Yep.
you were trying to get right. Let's get these two bases, and then it'd be all right. They two, we've captured they two. You move up to the next two bases, and it was just about trying to get to the last two numbers as quick as you or letters.
Yeah.
Sorry, get to the letters as quickly as you could to try and claim them. And
Yeah.
like, well, we were ridiculously good at
We
that
were.
game.
We were.
I don't really get. We hit prestige twice. Got to level 70 twice.
Yeah. Do you know,
That's
it's a game that I know it's not like a pure famous game and it kind of did get buried, but it was a game that honestly, we were so good. I can't even like describe how good we were at that game. Do you know what? Even if the game wasn't even about kills, like me and you used to be top of the leaderboards, even as like the commanders and stuff like that. We were that good at the game.
I would say. I would say so. I mean, when we played, I mean, can you remember that time with Resurgency as well, when it was nothing about kills at all? We were like trying to, it was the you're going to like capture the cars or whatever, and
Yeah, yep,
we were doing like the fighting at the base, whatever.
yeah,
And then literally, like you were fighting. I think 2 seconds later, this car just drove past you, and it was like me in
yeah,
the car.
yeah,
Like, I'd managed to sneak all the way past like enemy lines
yeah,
somehow, and like, the fight was literally at the very front, and I managed to get round them, get all the way to the back, get into the car, and drive the car all the way to the front, and win the game. Like, that was the kind of stuff that we were doing. We were like,
yeah,
single handedly. I really don't like to. Gary's totally different with me. I don't like to blow my own horn or say that we're good at anything. I really don't. But this game was something else. Like, I would
yeah.
love a game. Even you don't need to obviously polish the graphics and stuff, but no much. Like, I would love a game like this again. It was just, it was something else.
Yeah, I think.
Obviously, try to get these lobbies would be maybe difficult with latency and stuff, but I don't see why you couldn't.
Yeah, I think we kind of we took for what we had with COD, the actual first person shooting skills, and we were ready for the tactics version, and that's exactly
Yeah,
what Mag was. And
aye,
Mag was all about tactics and all about where you're going to put an airdrop. You know, an airdrop wasn't
aye,
just like I'm just going to put this here randomly. It was like where do my guys need this airdrop, or where
aye,
do I need to put this airstrike? You know,
aye,
where is everybody coming from? You had to
aye.
actually really think about this stuff, and also play the game at the same time. That was no, I absolutely love Mag, and you know it's a shame that we're probably never ever going to see it again. But I wish that they would give that Sony would just give another go and just go. Do you know what? Let's try this again because
Aye.
they definitely had something. See if there was a Mag 2, I think it would have took off. I really
Aye,
do.
there's a secret sauce in there somewhere. That size, I know that Battlefield and that has these massive things, but there is some form of realism in there with that Mag didn't have, and it didn't need it. It was
Mhm.
just there was 200 whatever it was players, but it was so um I don't know. It was essentially, if anybody's not played it, the maps were pretty much set out like a plus symbol, if you like, a D pad. It generally had a middle base that had, I
Mhm.
think it was maybe 8 letters, and then from each of the four sides of that base, there was 2 letters attached, and then the battlefield, if you want to call it that, for each squadron or whatever it was, then spread out across in the four directions,
Mhm.
so that the attacking team would be at the furthest points and work their way into the center. So you wouldn't necessarily be coming up against the 100 and whatever it was. It was a much more
Yeah.
focused gunfight, but it still felt like like a big team effort.
Yeah.
You had to pull your weight to get the letters, and sometimes you could get into the letters rapid, and then none of the other teams would get in, and you'd still lose. It was
Yeah.
really one of the things where you're like, right, okay, let's just focus on our bit, because you couldn't go and do the same thing for the other teams. You just had to focus on what you were doing
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
your bit.
Yeah, I do not actually have memories of us actually doing what the opposite you said there. Actually, I've memories of us going like we because sometimes because we were that high ranked that me and you would be in the same squad.
Yeah,
So we still talk to each other, but we just weren't in the same squad. Like you would be in
yeah.
a different squad. So you'd be maybe the commander of that squad, and I'd be the commander of the other squad. I remember like going like we're going forward, and we were the only team going forward, and it's like you know what? Let's just go back and go and help the other team. And we would
Aye.
go back. We would go behind enemy lines to the other side, and we would
Mhm,
just annihilate all them until they got all the way up. You know.
mhm. Aye.
But no, it's such a it's I love it. I actually do love Mag. Mag's one of the games, you know. See if it was no, it's ever it was never be a top rated game. It would never be a like game to play before you die. But just for me, for my own personal like love for that game, it's definitely I would say it's in my top 10. Just for games um and just the kind of the the feelings and the nostalgia and everything that came with Mag is just such good times, especially for our friendship as well, because it was a game we just, again just like all these games we just totally bonded there and we totally go we just totally like supported each other through and
Aye.
I'd be like, oh, I'm doing this, all right, well you should maybe do this, or
Aye.
you know,
That's probably one of the games that we played in the same place.
I must have been
Aye.
definitely,
Because
definitely,
we played the games quite a lot. Aye. I could speak for another hour easy on the different mag kind of different stuff, because even the upgrade trees and that were perfect for me, because you got different things that made your character, you know, a lot better, or different guns or upgrades and things like that. And it was just, I don't know, it was just one of the games, like you saying, wasn't it? It's not going to be like what a game that somebody writes home about, but it's just for personal reasons, it's
Yep.
pretty high on my list. If there was ever a game I'd want to bring back, it would definitely be that.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
for sure.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
So we played that a lot when we were working, and another game. We'll move quickly away for first persons before we head back into them again. I wanted to go back. Obviously, we were speaking about FIFA earlier, and I didn't want to
Mhm.
double up on the FIFA topic early on, but we need to go back because FIFA was such a big thing for us, especially for us and our other friends.
Yeah.
Obviously, with a group of four, three is kind of worked together, and with our good pal Ryan as well, and we used to just, I don't even know the words to describe the amount of alcohol that we'd buy
Yeah.
to for like a Friday, sorry, a Saturday. We'd show up at Gary's,
You
and
could
Gary would
poison
have
an elephant.
could poison an elephant. Aye, an elephant's family could have a bath, and the amount of alcohol that we would buy, yeah, shots, bottles, alcohol, you know, different stuff, spirits,
Yeah.
everything, you name it, we had it. Especially during the winter, it was perfect because Gary had his fridge, and then he had the outdoor fridge, which was just they sat outside at the back door and they were freezing. It was perfect. But
Yeah, yeah, we got good at one point and bought a bucket that we used to put ice in. That was no
oh
bad
aye,
as well.
aye,
We got a
aye,
bit cosmopolitan there.
aye. I remember me and Ross used to do that in my mum and dad's, but it was like a big, like it was too big, like for what we were using it for. Man, there was it was, and we would get through quite a lot of the beers and that were in it, but there was no reason for us to have a bucket in my room. We were walking distance to the fridge, man. We should have just put the carry out there, but we would literally put these cans. They were swimming by the end of the night. The soap and towel that was underneath it. But we did definitely take that kind of approach. But basically, what we would do playing this FIFA game is we would come up with we'd all be in the same team, right? Chaotically, if anybody knows FIFA, the last thing you want to do is play four people in a season mode in the one team versus a computer, because it can get pretty messy,
Yeah.
especially when there's people drinking. And that's exactly what we were doing. We were drinking and we were playing a drinking game. So we would have like a shot if you gave away a penalty, and a shot if it was a red card, and a shot if you didn't save the penalty.
Yeah.
Um, and on top of that, you'd have to take a drink if they scored, or if you gave away a free kick, or if there was a yellow card, you'd have to take a drink. So there was times where I was pouring like almost pints of Jack and Coke and drinking it within 15 minutes. Like that's no healthy, man. Like that's the last time I've drank Jack Daniels, because it wasn't right. Like we two of us probably have stomach problems for
Yeah.
this whole reason. We got up at like 4 or 5 in the morning after being up till like 2 or 3, whatever it was, and all three of us were just in and out of the bathroom because it was just messy, absolute messy.
I don't know how we didn't get alcohol poisoning. We probably
No,
did. We just probably didn't know.
no,
It was so bad, honestly. Some of them got so messy, as you said. And, the drunker you get, the more rules I'd want to put in.
Gary's rules. That was
It'll be the set
Gary's
rules,
special.
then there'll be Gary's rules. That's
Aye.
right. But no,
If you score a header, you need to touch. No, Gary, we're not scoring. No, we're not doing that. No, 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 no.
but
But this was the birthday like um, a good friendship kind of thing, because it was
no,
brilliant.
it was great. It was great. And it was so funny, you used to just be laughing at each other. And, as soon as somebody got a red card or got a penalty against them, everybody would bust out laughing. And,
You wouldn't
it
even
was just,
care that you were getting beat. It was just pure. Oh
oh,
my god,
uh,
who's going to have to go in goals? Like it was just
aye. Aye, exactly. Who'd be taking the penalty? No,
Aye,
it was brilliant.
it's
No,
perfect.
it was so good. It was so good. Just for it was always something to look forward to. I always think of like when we went to Rossi's at Aberdeen that time, and we were like,
Oh,
well, like the Friday we're going to do this, and then the Saturday we're going to do this, and then we Friday and we like played FIFA. I think it was Euros. It was Euros or World Cup. It was one of them at
aye.
that time, and I think it was World Cup. And we played the World Cup game, and we did the drinking game, and then the Saturday we were all dying, and we couldn't
Aye,
even do it.
we did.
We couldn't do it.
No, it was Pot Noodle Central, man. We were away to that shop down the road to get Panadol, I think it was, and
Aye, aye.
we'd made with that big wall of cans that we
That's
made
right.
outside Rossi's room. We
That's
thought
right.
we were so clever, so like, oh, we're going to build these, and he's going to open it, and he's going to knock them all out, but his door opened in the way, so it didn't really matter. He just stepped out of them and stepped back in again. It was
It
madness.
was funny that Saturday night. It was like, oh, so what we doing tonight? And everybody's just like, nothing, nothing.
No,
We
no,
we are not even. We're lucky
no.
if we even touch the drink.
Aye, we're eating this Chinese food. We're having one beer and then I'm going to sleep. It was
It was
wild, man.
funny,
I
man.
loved that. It was so good because Aberdeen, obviously, in case for people who don't know, outside of Scotland, probably, so I don't even know you know that down in the UK, but Aberdeen's very expensive. So
Yeah,
we took the train and we had some drink in the train, which obviously you're allowed to do at the time. We took some cans and stuff, and then we got to Aberdeen, and our friend Ross was doing playing bowls at the time, so he had said to us like just I'll get you at the train station. Like, don't go too far. Just go get a pub or whatever. So we walked to the train station and couldn't really see. It's pretty up market kind of around about the train station as you would expect in a place like that. So we couldn't really see anywhere. It was kind of restauranty places, and actually looked like there was a lot of banks and stuff in.
yeah.
And so we're like, let's head back inside. There's a Judy's in there. We just go up there. There's a bar in that. And like obviously we walked up with like all our bags and stuff because we were going to his house. So we like had all these bags, all these other stuff. 90
Sleep
people
bags
looking
and
at us as if, what you doing in here? What you doing here? So we end up back inside the train stations. There was a pub right as soon as we get in, and a friend Ryan volunteered to buy the first and might I say only round. But he went up and the two of us are standing in this bar and he just turned around, he turns around dead slow and he's just got this deadpan look on his face. And I just turned to Gary and I'm like, he's been skint. He's look at his face, man, he's absolutely been bumped here. And he comes out and I'm like, much that cost you? And I can't even remember how much it was, but it was almost like, I don't know, 5-6 quid a drink or something. It was something
aye,
stupid at the
aye,
time. But
aye.
I'm
Actually,
like, "Right, okay, sip these boys. Like, we're not taking our
aye.
drink in here." It was
That's
madness,
right.
man. But I
Aye,
think we ended up getting a carry out, and that was as we set ourselves right. But I think the only other time that I can think of, obviously we'd loads of the FIFA times,
aye.
but I've actually, in fact, you know what? No, before we move on to the WWE, because we had the WWE drinking game now, we actually had a time with the FIFA when we were celebrating. We were drinking that much. We were celebrating the goals that we were scoring, and we were celebrating that loud that that there was a chap at the door. So we're staying at my mum and dad's at the time. They're away for the
That's
weekend.
right.
And we're like, yes, the music's playing and all that. We're like, yes, and we're all like celebrating the goals and jumping at each other, like dogpiling in the middle of the flare and all that, like just really getting into it. There's just a pure big chap at the door that goes to the door. There's two police officers at the door, and they're like, all right, and I'm like, yep. And they're like, how many is this? How many of you are in there? And I'm like, four. Like this music you're playing and stuff. And they're like, oh, for the noise complaint, like because we were jumping about celebrating the downstairs neighbours had grassed us in. It wasn't even like late as well. It was like during the
Oh,
day.
was
It was
the
madness.
aye,
Absolute madness. So, FIFA's got a lot to answer for because it spurred on
yeah,
some pretty rough times.
yeah,
Um,
messy.
we ended up doing the WWE. What's your memories of that one?
I just remember that we used to always just gang up in Ross by the end there to get him
Aye.
stoned.
It was so easy to get drunk to, but you would. We had obviously the same idea with this list of like rules and stuff that was happening, but obviously we were playing against each other. There wasn't really a time that because it was 4 days. The only game you could have played, would have been three, it would have been like 3-on-3 or whatever, the 6-man tag matches, but we would just do like a fatal 4-way or a 6-man something. But there's so many different variations, but largely they were based around having weapons and stuff. But I just remember one of the rules was, you have to take a shot if you get bust open, or you get a shot if you were the one that get pinned. And there was sometimes where it was like you would have I would have a tally, and because we couldn't stop, you'd have to keep playing, and you would take all your shots at the end. So it was kind of like, right, how many shots does this person need to take? Right, or they have to take 2, and they have to take 4. Like, and me and Gary were really good at the game, so we just used to just wind the other 2 up. Like, we just sit and take advantage of it, because I had the game, it was mine. So naturally, you're better at it if you play it more regularly. So, aye, that was it was absolute madness. I loved that. It was so funny, man. Like,
Do you remember the test tube shots that you had?
oh, they
Oh
were
my
rotten.
god, man!
Absolutely rotten. It's the stuff that they give out in nightclubs to like teens. It's just absolutely disgusting. They had like no real taste other
No.
than just chemical, alcohol,
Yep.
nothingness. It was just absolutely disgusting. It wasn't strong alcohol. It just nothing. It's just this taste is how I could describe it. That's really all it was. There was supposed to be different tastes, but
Yeah.
they were they were absolutely stinking. I don't actually think there was much more that was worse than that, other than the what was that brand? And it was remember the strawberry? It was like strawberry milkshake shots or
Oh,
something
aye.
like that.
Was this, there
Captain
was
Jack's. No, Captain Jack's. No, it's not Captain Jack's, but
oh,
it's a name,
I'm gonna
because
drop it.
they had an apple flavour one as well, I think, but it was is it Cactus Jack's? I can't remember. No, because
Aye,
that's a wrestler.
I think it is
Is
that.
that what it is? Right,
Something
okay.
like that. Aye.
So they had they were absolutely rotten, just the worst flavours gone. It's really no good. But I remember remember one time with Ryan had he had like 4 shots or whatever, and he used to drink like kind of darker spirits, and he'd drink like fireball and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was making his shots for him. He was the only person that had his back to me, and his second shot, I just poured kebab sauce into this shot glass, and and lined up.
Oh, hello.
I don't know why that froze on you. That just went pop, just kicked you out.
Fuck knows
It's still
that.
this the recording's still on, so I'll just pick it up.
Aye, go for it.
Here. Just lined up like 4 of these shots. Second one, obviously, as I said, was the kebab sauce, and he just, because obviously Ryan was probably the best drinker out of us. As I
Oh,
me and him were,
definitely.
me and him were pretty good, but he was probably really good in terms of what he
Aye.
could hold and how he kind of handled it. Sometimes he'd have to go away to the toilet whenever, and he'd come back and he'd just keep going with us. Like, if I was out, I was out. But he just took them dead quick, and like we would just kind of look at each other and we're like, there was nothing off of it. Them, and he's like, I one of them was a wee bit spicy, and we just busted laughing. That was kebab sauce you had there. It was chili sauce that you were eating there. He's like, I thought it was a bit spicy. Like, oh, that's just the stupid, absolutely ridiculous things that we used to do when we were younger. And
Yeah.
aye, that's the kind of stuff that you wish you could go back to or try again. Can you imagine that if we tried that again now? It just wouldn't
We
work.
did, man. Nah, we did. But by 10 o'clock, we'd be all sleeping, telling you.
You'd need to take the Monday off and drink on the Friday.
Need to take a week off after that, telling you.
You're not far wrong, by the way, because I have a takeaway and I want to lie down. Never mind having the takeaway and then having a drink after it. So,
I'm
it's
telling
not
you,
far.
see a couple of weeks ago, I was at doing a local radio station thing, and I had 10 drinks during that, and see with Sunday, I still felt no well. What's that? I'm like, what? It was like 10 ciders, I'm pure dying. What's that about?
Your young body just was built for it. Us old men just can't quite handle it anymore.
Oh no,
Um,
no way, man.
no, never, never. We did obviously mention earlier that one of the games that we probably, or the last game I'd say that we clicked pretty well with, and that's a kind of story based game, if you like. We did try a few ones. I didn't put on Dying Light on the list, but we did try that for a wee while, and I'd love to go
Mm.
back to it. But it's just trying to find the time. But we played Division 2 pretty religiously. I'd say that was kind of the last big one that clicked. But we loved that one.
Aye, Division 2 was great. I was a game like we actually found time to play as well. You know, it was like a Wednesday, and it'd be like, oh wait, my Wayne's away to bed. I was like, right, Sean, I've got like 2 hours. You want to play Division?
Aye.
It was good. I really like Division games. I played the first one myself. I played that in solo. So I was ready for the second one, and you're always looking for a co-op game.
Yeah, I never played the first one. I went back and tried it, but after I played the second one, I don't know, I wasn't too enamored with the first one because, well, again, it's the co-op side. Yeah, I'll play any game with anybody
Yeah.
co-op. I really would. That's almost an invite, to be honest, and I just would. I like playing games. I like the idea of playing, a co-op experience with somebody else, and that was just one that I don't know. It was strange because we obviously I think we just stuck. We made sure that we'd never done like a main mission without
Mhm.
the other player, and we just kind of tried to stick to just doing like I can't remember what the other stuff was. Was it just?
Yeah, I think it was a lot of like collectibles, or like it was like maybe like hideouts or kind
That's
of
what I'm
thing.
remembering as being. Was it like scenarios or random things that used to pop up, like just wee
Yeah,
submissions? That's what I kind of remember.
yeah, that's what I think too as well. I don't think it was hideouts like as in like a Far Cry hideout, but I was
Aye,
more like there's a wee blockade here with like a few
aye,
guys, and you maybe get
aye.
a gun or something like that out it. So aye,
Mm-hmm.
that's the kind of stuff we did. Aye, as you said, we kind of left the story till the Bayfoods were there. But
Aye,
it's a good game. As we were saying, like with Desert Storm, like it's no, it's kind of tactical, but I wouldn't say it really is.
yeah,
You're just Bayfies are totally aggro in that game
aye,
completely. You know, it's just
aye.
guns blazing, and you're just trying to get the most powerful weapon. That's the only thing that puts me off Division. Was
Show
like
me, hold on, show me your gun
constant like
again.
bang, bang, bang.
No, you never
Um,
done any noise for the
um,
audio. Oh, I was going to say for the audio listeners. There is only audio listeners. Gary made a pointing thing when he said hands. When he said to the guy the first time, he's like, "We your gun," and he was showing me just in case I didn't know what a gun was.
the only thing that puts me off a division is the constant loot changing. Like I prefer just getting kind of like a gun, and it's like, oh, like let's get good at this
Aye,
gun. I hate this
aye.
constant like it was like, oh no, oh I just got a sniper rifle and that's like 3 points better than that, and I'm like, oh, I hate
Mhm.
all this constant loot
Aye.
grind. That's the only thing that puts me off Division, but we still
Aye,
played it, and it was a really good game. As you said, it's probably the last kind of solid, like 2-player story game that we actually played together
aye. I had
properly.
that recently with Tiny Tina's. I was playing that obviously with friend Amy, and I would be playing a game, but oh, it's gun, and then like 2 seconds later, I'd be like, oh, there's another gun, and then like
Mhm.
before you know it, the gun that you're really enjoying using is no quite good anymore, and you've got to switch to a gun that's like it's like Destiny stuff, like a few points better, but it just makes all the difference. Like
Yeah,
you be using a pistol just because of the damage that it does compared to a gun that you actually felt comfortable using. But I think for the large part, Rainbow Six is going to call it because I'm looking at the screen. Division was just perfect. It just landed at just the right time for us, and we obviously managed to get a good amount of time in there. I wanted
yeah,
just to start to go back to the first persons obviously before we go to some of these bigger online games that we played. But I think that one's it's not as special as like a conflict Desert Storm for me and my in terms of memory or an Army or two. But if there was to be another division game, I'd really think about about getting
yeah,
it
yeah,
for the 2 years. But it would really have to hit. I don't know. For me, maybe during the winter months, like where you're just wanting to no day much and you just want to chill out and play games. So you'd have a wee bit more, maybe make a wee bit more time through the week as well as the
yeah, yeah,
weekend, so that you're making progress with it. Because you don't want to get left behind in these kind of games. I mean, to be fair, we did get to the point where you get to the end game content and you get your special weapons and it's the gear score, and that's probably the first game that I've actually managed to get to that stage. But that was it
Mhm.
for us, really.
Ah, no, I see.
We
See,
stopped it there.
as soon as it, I mean, as I said, the first playthrough is like totally loot grindy, and you're just trying to get as much loot and just try to get as much damage points as possible. And see, as soon as I hit that gear level stuff, I was like, I am out, man. This
Mm.
is not for me. I hate, I hate kind of all that kind of stuff. I was like, oh, this is just as soon as it hits this kind of MMORPG kind of stuff, I'm out of this. It's just not my scene. Yeah,
Aye.
and the thing is, it was kind of, I would say Division Two was, it was hardish, Well, I wouldn't say it was completely hard, but I mean there was a few times that we died towards the end. A lot of times we had to like
Aye.
retry levels and stuff like that,
Aye,
and
the difficulty definitely ramped up really quick, didn't it, at the
aye,
end?
it did. And at the end, you get to that point, and it's like, oh, we've done it. We've defeated this, whatever. And it's like, all right. By the way, I knew the map's getting totally wiped, and you get to start again, but everything's harder. And I'm like, no,
Like we ran
no,
like one mission, we're like, do you know what, this isn't for us.
no. Everything just turned to a bullet sponge. And I was
Aye.
like, no, I'm out. I am out.
Aye. It was like, oh, where do you want to spend your points and all this stuff and equip this and do this? And I'm like, nah, I'm just no feeling
No.
it. Not for me. Definitely
No.
no. Too complex. I
That,
prefer
that's
things.
again, I said earlier, but that's why Outriders is definitely a game that it's still on my radar, because a lot of people said like it's kind of like a sort of Destiny
Mm-hmm.
Division slash type game. So
Aye.
it's one that, as I keep saying, it's kind of just on my radar for us. We'll get to it one day.
Aye, I'm not counting it out, that's for sure. As I say, that it's just one of the things when things are a wee bit too complex. It's just becomes something that you need to put a wee bit too much into for how we are kind of playing games these days. But
Yeah,
I'd say the complete opposite of that in terms of complexity, although it can get to that point. I probably played this more than you did, kind of solo, but we definitely had a couple of stints at playing this in a co-op form, and that's Minecraft. I think it does deserve a place on
definitely.
this because, well, I don't know. Do you want to kick? Do you want to kick the Minecraft experience off? Because I think I started
Yeah,
playing it
yeah.
first.
I no, I
PS3,
mean,
wasn't it?
yes, it was. Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think PS3. We've played it nearly. We've not played it PS5 yet, but we've played PS3 and we've played it in the PS4. I don't think we played it in PS5 yet, have we?
No, I think I
No,
jumped
no,
to
no.
the PS5, but it was like the PS4 version.
PS4 version. Aye.
Aye,
No, it's a game for me. As you said, like for multiplayer. I mean, I only play this game multiplayer. I've never played. I don't even think I've played Minecraft myself. Like once, like maybe
yeah.
jumped on and like did a farm and then did my farming and then just hopped back off. Like it's not a game that I played myself.
Mm-hmm.
For me, Minecraft was always a game I was always like, I'm not really into base building and I'm not into this. And this is, I always say to you, this is a pure Sean game. It's about creating and like farming and doing all this kind of stuff. I'm like, I'm not into that. But you kind of were playing it, and I was like, what, I'll just get a wee go. It might have been a PS Plus game or something like that, and I was like, I'm just go ahead and just play it. And no, it's a good game. Once you start getting into it and start to learn, it's got a big learning curve to it. It looks like a pure baby game. It has got a learning curve to it. And you just basically led the way. And I mean, you've platinumed the game, and that's where I think you should take this conversation and run with it for the next hour.
Aye. Oh, the next hour. I could talk for days on this game, man. I love this. I think even before I'd even started going for the platinum, we played this game back, as I say, on the PS3, and we would I played hundreds of hours into Minecraft, and when we were playing it, like I would build like just ridiculous. We built like a big castle,
Mm-hmm.
and then like I started building like a big stadium that when you stood at like because of the draw distance, if you stood at like one end of it, you couldn't see the opposite end. It was that big, but it was it was a game that me and my missus, like we both like kind of bonded out playing that over the weekend because it was just kind of mindlessness. You would sit and you would just be digging, just digging out to get the bricks to then make what we were doing. And as you say, I would be right in it. I'd have like a wee hut, and then there'd be like a separate bit for all the tools and all that goes into it. Like I have quite an organised kind of side of me, and even like if it wasn't the last year, it was the year before we did in fact it was last year we did the realms.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like £6 or something. I think I was paying per month to have this like server almost. Um, and we would, you'd be able to log on at any time. And it started off as like, oh, cool, we'll play this. And I think me and Vits at the time had said like, oh, we'll try and get because he was the kind of main instigator, I think, in terms of right, how can we get the platinum? So I started to look up all the trophies, and we kind of set up a couple of things to, like say there's a trophy for the skeleton, so we would we would set up a wee bit where you could like trap skeletons, and then I think it was like you had to go so many blocks away and shoot the skeleton. So we had
Yeah.
we set up a wee kind of trap, and that's how you would get that trophy. And then the other one was like you had to ride a rail for 500 blocks or something. So we kind of started farming for the materials to make that, so we could get that trophy. So it was just trying to steadily kind of progress progress into that. But I started going like adventuring and like plotting like coordinates to like where villages were and stuff. Like I had a drawing, an actual map. It's on the Discord server, and it's an actual map that shows like where the where like portals are and where there's like different things, and like it's ridiculous. Like I get so into it, but equally like as you say with the creative kind of side, like because it wasn't just solely about the platinum. Like I had like where we had like the farmhouse and stuff, and all the animals and done all the farms. I think you actually did a lot of the farm stuff
Yeah.
on the server, because I remember we then started to get into like villagers and stuff, like that
Yeah.
and bringing villagers over, and they would tend to farm. Like it was
I killed them
crazy.
all.
Ah, you
I
did,
killed
aye.
them all because I wanted the farm.
Aye. Gary set about them on, and I couldn't get the villagers to work after that, but. Um, it was weird, like because they weren't really doing it right. To be fair,
No.
Gary Stew, they were rubbish at their job, so he set about them. But it was I loved. Honestly, I couldn't recommend Minecraft enough for anybody that has a bit of a creative muscle in them, because I don't know, it's not like endless creativity. You have, there is restrictions for sure, but there's enough in there that you can really, if you mix and match some bricks and colours and items and
Yeah,
stuff, like, you can really create something pretty fun. And that's not even getting into the whole redstone, like, which is like almost kind of electricity, if you want to kind of
yeah,
liken it to that. In the castle I had, you walk up and press a button, and it would open the gates as if you were walking into a castle. Like, it's just mad stuff that
yeah.
you
Do,
could.
do you know, like, the great thing about that you server thing you had set up? We had about maybe about 5 or 6 people playing that, maybe,
Aye,
that were
aye,
in
aye.
that one server. So everybody, I mean, we played with some American people as well. So people weren't on the exact same time, but you would go on and you would just see what everybody else just did different, and everybody's houses were all different. Um, like mine's, I mean, I always just like make underground bunker like mud huts,
Aye,
basically. Where as you go to yours was like a proper castle with like a moat, and
aye,
as you said, it had like all these buttons on it that had like trap floors, and it's like, oh, you can tell somebody like who's creative and wants to build this stuff.
aye, aye,
Like Hoodie's house was like, remember he built like a castle in the sky and stuff like that. It
aye.
had a waterfall, and
He
it was really
really
good.
fell out with the game, because he was like, if I build it way up there, they can't spawn. And
That's
he
right.
didn't realise that it was random and something spawned and he fell off the top. And then he thought, well, if I'll just put loads of stuff at the top, and then you can't spawn in there, and then they started spawning inside his house. So I think he quickly gave up after that, because it just,
Yeah,
I don't know, obviously it just wasn't. Um, it was just too much in terms of
yeah,
the different things that were spawning, which it's one of the eggs. It's not going to be for everybody, but like I said, if you've got any kind of creative bone, even just watching a few, stuff on YouTube probably can get your kind of inspiration going. And
yeah.
loved it, absolutely loved it.
Yeah,
Couldn't get
it was
enough of it.
really good that last time we played it, because like you were obviously in your platinum run at that last time we played it,
Hmm.
and that's why I played it with you. I wasn't playing it because I was getting the platinum. I was far off the platinum, but I was just like, what, I'm going to go on and I'm going to do this stuff, and I'd be like to Sean, I'd be like, right, what platinum? No, what trophies do you still to get? And you'd be like, oh, I need to get all these dies, and I need to, and I started like collecting stuff as well.
Aye,
I'd be like, I've got all these dies and I've got all this, and and for a way it was kind of like we both were trying to get your platinum, but it was
aye,
good. It was a good way. It was a good way to do it. It was a bit of nice co-op about it,
aye. It
even
was a good
though
team effort.
yeah, even in like we did I don't know what it's called, when we go to like the dragon stages and all that kind of stuff.
It's the Ender Dragon, I think it's called
The
that.
Ender Dragon. We did all that as well.
Mhm.
No, it was good. I've completed the game.
Aye, like, listen, you beat the boss. That's you. That's all you
I
need to do.
beat the boss. I'm not sure I'm actually good at it, but I at least completed
I
it.
know. It's like, Gary, here's all the stuff that you need to fight this thing. Like, here's your shield and all that stuff, and all your things, all your enchanted
Pumpkin
stuff.
mask.
Aye, here's all your stuff. And he's like, right, okay, thank you. Aye, pumpkin mask, I forgot about that as well. Aye, it was really good. As you said, I did enjoy it, and I wish, that the realm's probably still there, but I wish that, it maybe was a bit bigger, in terms of people that are playing, because I just love seeing other people's. I
Yeah,
love seeing things changing, and I just probably had visions grander than, what I could have expected, in terms of, having like all these different houses, and almost like a kind of Minecraft city, almost
yeah,
of different people kind of bringing stuff together. And I think I don't know, I just love that collaboration. I love, going away and doing something, and people not being able, people not looking at what you're doing, and then they come over and they're like, wow, I mean, you've clearly been busy,
yeah,
that's,
yeah,
I like all that. I like that side of things. As you say, you jumping on for a wee while, and you're like, oh, I've got loads of iron now, and and that was how we managed to build the kind of railway.
yeah.
Well, that was
Do you
kind
know?
of how we done that.
And like, even in the server, it's although there's no a story in the game, it was kind of like the story was getting made by everybody else.
Aye.
Like the one that I always think of, we built a full railway all the way to a village, so it took us ages getting all the supplies and all the ore and
Yep.
stuff like that. And then we went off, and it was like 2 nights later we went back on, and we went to the village, and everybody was dead.
Aye. Aye.
And we were like, "What happened? What's happened here? How come everybody's died?" And we messaged Hoodie, and we're like, "Hoodie, did you kill the villagers?" And he's like, "Well,
I
wait a
know.
minute."
He took. I think he took all the beds. Remember, he went and stole all the
That's
stuff.
right. Stole all the
So,
beds so they were all
aye,
zombies.
aye. So all the beds get taken, and then because there was no beds, they'd nowhere to go, and they'd all died. Aye. So it's funny, like when you have the kind of wee, as you say, the wee stories, the wee different things.
Yeah.
Like, because I remember it was like, right, we've got to build. I had to just made that we're building 500 squares away, and that's it. And then I think it was you who said, "No, why don't we build something to that village?" And like we didn't do anything like too fancy in terms of a railway kind of station. If you like. That's what I wanted to do was a railway station, but it would just have been too. I think some of the ideas that I had lended themselves more to a creative server, and I just wasn't interested in doing a creative server. I wanted to
Yeah.
go and get the stuff. That was part of the charm for me, was to go and get the stuff. So I don't know. I just feel like it was one of the things you just have to kind of, I don't know. You just have to kind of do what you can do, and it wasn't like much. There wasn't much to look at, but it was really good for us.
No, I think we should be proud of it. We done like I just as I said, like was it Amy? Amy played as well, didn't he? And did she? And
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I would go on and be like, "What's this built to my house? Like right next to my house?" And I would go down and I'd be like, "There's somebody else's house in here." And the same as with Hoodie, like Hoodie built that house in the sky, and then he built another few things. He had that like underground house as well, and I built all the way to Hoodie's house underground and stuff like that. Like, there's just, as I said, there's no story to the game, but we were just kind of making our own wee stories in this wee village that we just made ourselves.
Aye,
And no, it was great. Minecraft is a game I've tried a few times, and I always was like, oh, I'm not sure about this game. It's not really for me, but that last time I did really enjoy myself and really got what I was probably should have got out at the first time.
aye. That was what I enjoyed. I enjoyed it, and I think the realms were probably the answer to that. It's just purely because you can get more than one person if you like into any given thing, so you didn't have to be online all the time.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
It's funny to actually mention the next game in Fortnite because I don't know. I wouldn't know where to start with. With Fortnite, obviously, we were quite early players. I think when it came out, I think in the October, Novemberish time, I think it was, and I'm sure it was January. I think you had to come over for my birthday, and I downloaded it that week or something, and had a couple of goes, and that's when we did a kind of pass the controller around and put, and that's where we had kind of started playing it. I think me and Ross started kind of playing together, and then you'd kind of joined in, but
Yeah,
we went pretty deep on Fortnite for the longest time, just because of how addictive it was in terms of for a group game. But I think largely it was because it was just a place for us all to be in the same place and just play, that game.
yeah, definitely. We played. I know I played to season 2 to 6, all the way through to that. So it was a good few months, probably a year, if no more. And as you said, it was just a place for all us just to be together and play together. As it wasn't a game we were ever competitive about. Although obviously, if we got near the end, we were like, right, boys, it's time to knuckle down.
Mm-hmm.
But
Aye.
it was never that. It was we always usually had it as a game. We're all just having a wee drink and we're all just talking absolute crap to each other and we're just noising each other up and
Aye.
it was always just a wee laugh to play Fortnite and it's actually probably the last game actually we all kind of played together and then
Aye.
after that it's kind of so it's got a kind of bittersweet moment actually. Fortnite with me because it's kind of the last time we actually played kind of as a big group. One game at that time.
Aye, I think obviously the next game we played kind of here and there, maybe even more recently, but definitely not for as much or for as long. I mean, it obviously came like to the point where it was during the week was kind of no practice runs, but during the week it was more like, oh, let's play, different games where different just play it out, and whoever's joining, sorry, is going to join. But then we would make like a kind of main event of it on the Friday. We'd try and get a full squad of players
Yeah,
on at any given time. Obviously with a friend, Barry, a friend of mine, Barry, that we used
yep.
to get on. Would message him as well, and it would be all four of us just chilling out and playing Fortnite. And I don't know, man, it was something else. Like, I don't think I could even replicate it, even if there was kind of 4 days playing now, because it's just, I don't know, it's just not my it's not my game anymore. It's
No, no,
vastly
it's
different. Even the no build is as refreshing as it is to not get clowned on with the builds and stuff like that. It's just no where it was back then
yeah,
when
yeah.
not that many people were that good at it.
Yeah, Fortnite is a game that I realised there's like I'm not as good as games as I used to be. It was definitely that game, but see, as soon as like I think I was all right at the shooting bit, but see, as soon as it was like the building, I was just like I'm like out my depth here. Like, I'm
Aye,
totally like people would build like who season tapping me, and I'd be I'm dead. Like
aye,
I
you
might as
you
well
win.
just put a controller down.
Aye, you win.
Um, that was definitely the game that I was like, I'm not a young gamer anymore.
Aye,
Like this
aye.
is biting me back in the ass for all the times that we were all laughing at people when we were playing Mag and all that.
aye, aye. That's the link I was going for as well, mentioning that back in the COD days. But I think it's probably one of the first games since Call of Duty that we were really, I would say, addicted to, for
hmm
for for lack of a better term,
Yep.
because we were trying to get up to, like, the top level to try and unlock all the items in the battle pass. And I think back then it was kind of more difficult because you didn't have as many of these challenges and stuff like that to do, so you just
hmm
had to
hmm
play the game quite a lot to get that kind of Black Knight or whatever it was,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
that season. But honestly, like, it was just one of the things that at the time it probably landed at a perfect time where there wasn't as much kind of games to play, and we actually played for a good few months. Then I think there was a break when there was a big AAA game that came out, and then we're right back on it again for months again. And it was
Yeah.
just, I don't know, there was just that many is playing, so there was always somebody to play with, and
Yeah.
I loved it.
Do Fortnite was definitely that game that it just totally took over everything, even without gaming. There was
Aye,
like dances and like music, and every meme that was coming out, it was getting put into Fortnite, or it was there was always stuff just like Fortnite related that just became totally global, and actually people were talking about it even outside gaming.
aye.
So you could never get away from
No,
it.
I think definitely put the spotlight on gaming. You can't take that away from it. It definitely did in terms of the kids, and it focused a lot of gamers on a single point,
Yeah.
and
The,
it just brought games to the centerfold of
yeah.
common
The
space.
only other time I really remember this happening in my lifetime was like Pokemon's, like the
Aye, oh aye,
red and yellows and stuff like
aye.
that. Like it's the same. It was the same kind of phenomenon that was happening. Like
Mm-hmm.
everybody was talking about it. Even like my mum and dad, who don't even play games, knew what Fortnite was and knew
Aye,
some of the characters and knew some of the dances. They'd be like, "Oh, yeah, that's a dance for Fortnite," but they'd never
aye,
even seen Fortnite.
aye,
But it was crazy. It just totally took the world by storm.
aye.
Um, and I look at it now and I think to myself, like, there's a few times that like your missus and all that has been trying to get us back onto Fortnite, and I'm just like, I just can't
No,
now.
I know.
I've had my time. I've done it. I've been there, done that, and I just can't go back now.
Mm-hmm. Aye, I like to keep playing different stuff, and I've obviously a bit more focused on trying to get through a lot of games that I've got and want to play and whatever else, especially with the whole Game Pass thing. It definitely adds to the variety of stuff and a whole adds a whole kind of other range or list of games that I've just not managed to get to or play. So spending time playing Fortnite's just no for me anymore, and
Yeah.
there's just too many people that are a lot better at it.
Yep.
It's,
Yep.
it's not that much of a level playing field because it is a lot to do with skill based combat, which is fine. I don't mind that. It's fine. Everybody starts with nothing, and you have to find the weapon. So there is a wee bit, going for you. But generally, it's these guys who play every day, all day, every day, that are they're going to win every game, and fair play to them. I just don't have that ability anymore. But one game that obviously you've picked up on that while we're recording this, that there was much merrier level playing field, and it was just fun. And
Yep.
I think you had maybe actually maybe think that you'd maybe seen it first and kind of shared it about because it was a lot like Total Wipeout, the
Yep.
show over here, but I can't remember if it was a game that we played first and then started playing on stream, or if it was just a game that we were streaming. I don't remember. I know we played it a lot on stream, but I think it
I
came
think we just
before it.
started playing it first. I think we just started playing it first. Because I definitely remember playing it with just like our normal pals
Aye,
first, and then I have memories of playing it with like stream people.
aye, right, okay, aye. So obviously the game we're talking about is Fall Guys, and that was just it was so good. PS Plus. I think it came out PS Plus at
Mm-hmm.
first
Yep.
when it first came out, and it was just so good. Such an addictive loop behind it. I really enjoyed playing Fall Guys together. It was such an easy game that you could sit and play, and we were all kind of the same kind of level in that as well. So you would generally be playing up to the same point as each other, and then trying to get the
Yeah.
get the crowns at the end. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed that.
Yeah, Fall Guys is great because, as you said, it's just mindless fun, you know. We bit like we played it exactly like we played Fortnite. It was just a kind of game. We just had a wee drink with, and it was a wee Friday night game, and we just played in. It's it's good because like if you finish, you get to watch your pals, and it just turns into a pure laughing fest sometimes,
Aye, it
you just
does.
sit watching your pals we been just getting scalped off of this
Aye,
platform
aye,
constantly,
aye,
and you can't help but laughing, and it's a great time, Fall Guys. It's a game that I would happily go back to actually and play again, if you had a good group of people just to go back to play it.
aye,
It's a fun time, and it's a game that I think if we didn't put it on this list, would have been like, we forgot to talk
aye.
about Fall Guys.
That's perfect. I'm glad that you added that, and obviously it's free to play now for everybody across all of the different services, and it's on Switch now and Xbox and that as well. So I might download it again just to have on the PlayStation, because I know Mrs. Mac's a fan as well. So maybe it'd be a good game to pick up on a wee Friday night for a couple of hours or something. But I really enjoyed it. Actually, as you say, it was a good laugh. And I think that's what made it the kind of almost perfect streaming game as well. Like obviously, I mentioned a few streams ago with the charity stream for Safe Now World, and it was a
Yeah.
game that we'd put on after I'd finished the main kind of charity mental health segment. I flung that on. You and Ryan joined me, and literally they were just kind of running about doing, jumping about in Fall Guys while I was having dinner at the time. And then
And
we obviously
Waxing
then
Man.
Waxing Moon joined as well later as well. Aye, that's right. She joined a bit later on. She was also on the panel, so she went away to have some food first. But she joined into the chat, and she's always a good laugh, but
Yeah.
especially during Fall Guys. So we had a good run on that as well. And I just honestly, I would love to. I've said to her before that I would love to play it again. Because it is, even off stream, I don't care, whatever. Just it's just such a good buzz to
Aye.
to play a game like that, because like you say, it's just fun. You could just get a drink.
Aye.
It didn't matter if I get put out sometimes in the second round. I'm like, right, I don't care. I don't care. I'm just sitting, talking,
Yeah, yeah.
laugh it and try and
Do
spur
you
you
know?
on.
Do you know what's quite funny about that game? Like, you're obviously playing as your own. So, like, when we played it, there wasn't the team. I know there's a team version
Aye,
that you
aye,
can
aye,
play, but we were playing as just like solo, but in the same rounds. And do you know it's funny? Even if you all get put out, see at the end, see whoever's that last person. Well, right,
aye,
come on, you
aye,
can win. You know,
aye,
every time it didn't matter.
aye.
It didn't
No,
matter. Which was it's quite weird for
aye,
to be like that in a
aye,
competitive game when you're in that competition as well.
aye. I
Um,
think even it got to the point where, like, if there was like us and like a couple of people, like, and you were on the last round, like, it was like, right, as long as one of us win it, it was near
yeah,
like
yeah.
you're like, oh, you're getting down, you're getting put out. Like, it was just like, right, one of us needs to win this, right? Let's go and we'll do this. Like, I think I could sure the first one that you had, I know you'd won a couple, but I think the first one, like, it was just me and you, and I'm like, right, I'm off. Like, I just hopped off the thing, so
Aye, aye,
like to get the first one, because it was just something that it was so coveted at the time, because they were hard to come by, because we never played it
aye. They
as
were hard.
much, so
Yeah,
it was hard to get it. So we always played probably peak times, um,
yeah,
I would say anyway, and that was one of the things that I always remember. That was definitely hard to come by a win. A wee bit of luck involved near the end, but
definitely.
a win definitely meant something when you go to in that game. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. It reminds me of like early days Fortnite. Early days Fortnite as well. That was the same one. It was a win was a thing that was hard to get. Whereas now, like I was talking to my nephew like a few weeks, and he was talking about like he's got like 27 wins or something. I'm like how do you get that many wins now? Like in the day you were lucky if you got one in Fortnite
Aye,
in the first couple of seasons. You know.
aye, it's crazy. And you
Um,
see, like, talking to obviously Miss Mac plays the game a lot more than I do, and generally if she's playing, they'll, you oh, you winning? Oh, aye, one or two, and it's so nonchalant now. Like, whereas we were
yeah.
like, we won a game, like, I can't believe we won a game, or like there was times where I was
Aye.
messaging you like half an hour after we'd stopped playing, going, I can't sleep because we lost that. We didn't win that game, like, and it was like we came so close to winning that game. Like, if I'd only done this, like, that's how
Yeah.
rare it was to get the games. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
Fall Guys, like, when you definitely got. I mean, I clipped out most of my Fall Guys wins and put them out as videos, because the reaction was pure, um, you know, joy. Like,
Yeah.
and that time I was singing Flower of Scotland and all that stuff, I was just buzzing. That way, it was just a good
Yeah.
laugh.
Yeah. No, it's
Uh,
great. Fall Guys is a great time. If anybody's not
one of the
played
best
that, go for
games.
it, man.
Oh, aye. Forget, definitely. That's especially now that it's free to play. So, I would say that was very, very high up the list in terms of the co-op games that we've played. Um, Obviously the last co-op game that we've got on this list is a big game, especially probably for us as well. We played it multiple
Mm-hmm.
times, I'd say,
Mm-hmm.
but it's weird because, see, now, like, I wouldn't go back to it now because of the, because of the whole RP kind of stuff. But GTA 5, GTA Online was just, I don't know, it's a tale of two stories. I think when we first started playing it, remember the issues that we used to have trying to get like
Yeah.
missions and whatever else.
Yep.
Like, it was such a grind.
Yeah, we tried it like first, like when it first came out the online, and it obviously just wasn't ready.
No,
It was really bad at the start. I think the only things you could, I don't even know if you could even get in a proper mission. I think a lot of times it was just we were just literally going about this map and we were just robbing like the petrol stations and stuff
that's
like that.
exactly what we done.
That's all we were doing. That's all
Aye,
it was really to do.
aye.
And now it's obviously grew arms and legs and became this big thing. But I kind of agree with you. It's a game that I look at now. I played it at the time and I enjoyed myself. But see, when you're out it, I'm like, I'm not sure that's actually that good a game.
No,
Um,
no.
it was super grindy. Everything takes ages to get, and I know that there's maybe an allure to that for some people, but for me, like when you've got cars that are like 50 million, and you're lucky if you get like a million, doing
Mhm.
like 17 missions, that
Aye,
just that for me is just like at the time, as I said at the time we were playing it, and I was happy to do that at the time. just basically because we were playing it together as well.
Mhm.
It's just that like most of these games that we're talking about, like we had a group of people playing it, so it was just a place to hang about and just kind of be together.
Aye.
Um, but I don't understand how like people play this game and it's like the only game that they play, because I just don't think it's never had its hooks in me like that, never, this game.
No, even when we did like the heists, like, it was really fun, and we ran like quite a few, but it wasn't anything that you're like, right, I'm dying to play more of this. It was just a game that we were playing at that time.
Yeah,
Obviously, like I get, again, like most things, like I get quite into it, and in terms of the business stuff, and I think I managed to get one of the shark cards special games, whatever, because I was, I bought the game and managed to get it electronically, so I gave the disc to Mrs. Mac. She played along with us as well, but it was good having like the nightclub and having your own kind of wee story in your head in terms of running this nightclub, whatever else. But the problem was is that it punished you for playing it. That's what I'll say. It did, because it
yeah,
took money off you for running the things, and there's no reason for doing that other than just making you play, trying to make you play the game more, or make you do stuff where you were actually with these things activated. And it wasn't right. And then obviously, like, you're grinding away and you go to make a delivery, and then somebody just comes in a rocket ship and just blows you up, and that's you lost millions. Like,
yeah,
it just wasn't worth it in the end. So that's why the allure of playing the RP side, where it's just a stripped back
yeah,
version of the game, is just so. It would, honestly, I would absolutely love it if there was some way for me, us, whatever, to play that. It's just PC gaming is just no really something that I'm interested in getting involved in
yeah,
just yet. So I'm not even going to kind of entertain that at the minute, because I just don't have the funds, and I don't know, I just don't really want to do that kind of thing at the minute. So
yeah.
otherwise, I'd be all up in that, because it looks so fun. The whole idea of going about, and even being a police officer, I'd never thought a game would make that kind of thing look fun.
Yeah, no, you introduced me to RP. I think I came to your house one day to stay, and you were watching somebody play RP, and I was like, "What's this? Like, it's Grand
Mm,
Theft Auto?" And then you're like, "I bet it's like a modded version." And I was watching it, and I was like, "This is amazing! Like,
aye.
this is so much better than the actual game that they've got. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why didn't they see if they make Grand Theft Auto 6 and don't make it like this? It's like, what are you actually doing? What are you doing?"
Aye.
Like, I mean, we kind of watch the same people who play RP. We will watch the one that we're kind of we're Mayfield's watching miles away the now.
Yep. Yep.
And he is superb at it, and he's totally on. He's got
Yeah,
like
you would
voices.
think he
He's
was a
got
police officer.
Aye, he's got like voices and stuff like that for his character, and and he does it like by the book. Like even like the boring things that like he needs to like write reports and stuff like that, like for the
Aye.
incidents, and
Aye, you watch
you
him too.
know, aye, you sit and watch him, type up these reports, and
Aye.
it's amazing, like actually what that game could be like. Well, what it's modded to be like,
Aye.
but it's just like that game is that I would 100% want to play that than people, as you say, flying bike rockets and blowing you up every 2 minutes, and you're just like, what is this? This is total. Watching RP is totally ruined GT Online for me. Like,
Aye.
I could not go back to it. I tried it.
No.
I tried it when we were watching the RP stuff, and I turned it on, and I text Sean about 10 minutes later. And I was like, no, I'm not playing this ever again. Like, it has totally ruined this for me.
Aye. It's not the
I
same, I
just
don't know.
I can't be bothered with all this griefing, and the person doesn't really have anything to lose for griefing you all the time. I
No.
just can't be bothered with that.
No, they don't. They don't. There's no incentive to be doing that, because you don't get that much money for
No.
destroying somebody's stuff. Just let them go and deliver it, and then they can go and get their car or get whatever they want to do. But the main, that's why I enjoy the RP side so much, and I really enjoy watching people playing it, because there's just so much different stuff. Obviously, the opposite side, miles away in the police side, is Jose Santana, who's the kind of one that we were watching originally, and it's just fun to see the kind of gang side of things, like, you know,
Yeah,
causing up an issue, and like seeing them going like hunting and getting themselves into situations where it's like, oh my god, I don't have a license and I'm holding this, and try to see like them RP against each other, like to see if they're going to get caught and whatever else. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's just something else.
yeah.
It's a very, very,
Do,
very
do you
special game.
know? Do you know the things that blow my mind? It's always like, see, when you watch like Jose or you watch Miles, and like as you said, Jose kind of plays a gangster sort of, and Miles is always kind of, he was a prison officer, now he's a police officer, and
Yep.
you know it's quite active, the stuff that they do, and I
Yep.
think to myself, there's actually people playing this game that are like butting it like a KFC,
Aye.
and that's their
Aye.
full game. They
Aye.
just sit and serve people.
And people watch people. You know, I started watching Jose when he was a taxi driver, and he would just
Yeah,
go and pick people up and just take them around. And see the interactions they would get off of just doing that, like picking people up, and the different stories and the different things that they would commit with and say, and
yeah.
like, oh, it was, it's madness, just madness, full of very talented people in some of these servers. So I would definitely check out the two people that would mention there. And if you
Yeah.
don't, if you don't, then please at least look up GT Online on Twitch, and check out some of the top streamers that are playing that game, because it's brilliant.
I would only say do that if you feel like you're never going to play Grand Theft Auto Online again.
Aye,
That
aye,
comes a disclaimer.
yeah. The Gary Moore disclaimer is just make sure that you're fully finished with GT Online before you
Yeah,
move on to actually watch people playing RP.
yeah.
So speaking of Gary Moore disclaimers, kind of different stuff
Warning,
coming for.
warning.
Aye, definitely. Skip to the end if you're sensitive to the ears. I don't really even fully know what's coming up. This is a brand new segment to the Vault Dwellers podcast. We'd like to thank you for listening every week, and we've obviously made ourselves a nice wee platform here. So we're going to hand the keys to the mansion over to Gary Moore, a new segment courtesy of Ben. Please be excited when he wants Gary to have a wee rant. So welcome to the stage, Mr. Gary Moore. Gary's rant. Take it away, Gary.
So my rant this week is there's been reports that Rockstar said that they weren't happy with the Grand Theft Auto trilogy, and they said it's put them off making a remaster of Red Dead, and I can't remember what the other game was. Grand Theft Auto 4, maybe? Well, I think it was Grand Theft Auto 4. They said they put in the backbench that they're not making these remasters because of how poor the Grand Theft Auto trilogy was received. And then I think to myself, do you know whose fault that is? Your fault. That's nobody else's fault. You have got a team that's thousands of people, and you decided to cheap out a Grand Theft Auto trilogy. You're the one that made an AI program make these games that people absolutely adore. You ruined this opportunity. And the size of the team you've got, you could have just took 20 people and went, do you know what you're going to do? You're just going to make these remasters. That's your full job. Just go and do it. And if we're not happy with it, then we'll just keep working on it. They've got so much money that they don't need to be farting these games out. They should be Rockstar. When you think of Rockstar, you think of quality. That's what you think. There's no reason that Rockstar need to be shipping out games that aren't ready. And do you know what else? I think Rockstar have actually got so far, and they're so high, and they're actually starting to think they're actually became a bit of a snobby, a snobby powerhouse of a company. Because do you know why? I feel like everybody wanted DLC for Grand Theft Auto 5, but they weren't interested. They're too interested in just making the money off online. Again, what are they doing with this money? They should be putting it back in. I know they were making Red Dead Redemption, but again, Red Dead Redemption 2's came out, and now everybody's going, right, come on, where's the DLC for it? Where's this for it? No, they're not interested. They're not even interested in Red Dead 2 online. They're only interested in Grand Theft Auto Online. That's all they're interested in. I know they're going to be making Grand Theft Auto 6. I know that's what they're all doing. But it's just like, are you kidding on how big a company you are? You should be taking some of that money and putting it in wee projects as well. It shouldn't just always be the next big thing. And look, I love Rockstar as much as anybody else. You know, Red Dead 2 came out. It's one of my favourite games of all time. Grand Theft Auto 5, maybe not my favourite Grand Theft Auto of all time, but you can't say it's not a good game. You know, but I just think to myself, Rockstar's such a massive company. You've got to like diversify yourself more, and you're actually starting to become no a fan friendly company anymore. And that this is this week's Gary's rant.
All right then, there we go. Gary's rant.
Do you have any commentary on what I said?
I don't really want to. No, I quite like the idea of it just being a packaged Gary's rant. I probably do have
Fair
some
enough.
comments and commentary, but they're probably in line with yours. So we'll just move on to the next segment. So, full stop on Gary's rant. If you have a topic that you'd like Gary to rant about, you feel, or if you have some rebuttal or agreements to Gary, then drop a wee comment on the YouTube
I
video
want to
or
take
something.
agreements.
Absolutely. If anybody gets any responses for the Vault Dwellers pod, please know that it's no me that's responding, it's somebody else, somebody called Gary, that's going to be responding to any of these things on the on the good responses. So, yep, that's a brand new segment. Gary's got a wee log of different rants, and we're going to introduce him. Really bit of levity of the podcast. Ben's idea for the segment, so you can thank him.
Thank you, Ben.
Speaking of Ben, and as a wee, obviously, as I said, we've got some listeners' questions that we are looking to use weekly. So Mrs. Mac has took it upon herself. Obviously, last week we recorded and posted the episode for hobbies, which were speaking about childhood hobbies all the way through to twitching and art and stuff like that. And Mrs. Mac very kindly commented on the post saying, have any of you ever tried to catch pigeons? So Ben decided that he would write in and ask that same question. So I really, obviously, thanks to you both for bringing light to this situation. So Gary, have you ever tried to catch pigeons?
I can say in my total life, I have never tried to catch a pigeon.
I me either. Right, okay, right. That's been the Vault Dwellers podcast. Listen, right, I might have dabbled in this back in the day, but in my defence, we lived in tenements in Glasgow, and two different houses in that kind of area, if you like, because we backed onto like these flats as well. So there was obviously a good number of different houses. I couldn't even tell you the number of different houses that were there, but basically there's people in, I think, the close next to us and one opposite and one down that had they used to keep pigeons in the loft of the close. So I don't fully understand. I know a wee bit about the idea of pigeons and that people have these pigeons and they train them and then they pay loads of money for people to take them somewhere far away and they get a kick out of releasing them and watching them all come back. I don't understand it. I really don't.
No,
Right?
I don't either. I don't get the hobby.
But apparently it's a thing, right? But that's not what we were doing, right? As 10-year-old Waynes. Basically, you see people who, they weren't catching the pigeons the way we were catching, right? Which I'll get to. They were obviously doing it through, the other things and then keeping them, whatever. But what we would do was, do you remember, obviously back in the day, obviously probably most people remember bins. They never used to be plastic, they were metal, and they used to have the metal lids at the top, the metal big disc shaped metal lids. So
trash can.
That's it, a trash can. What we would do would take that lid and we put it on the grass, and then you get a stick and prop up the lid so that the bird would get stuck underneath, and to tie a wee bit of rope to the twig, and then you'd go and hide in the bit where all the bins were, but it's like a line for the bins. The dikes, we would call them. I don't know if that's something that you would call. That's what we
That's what we used to call it. We used to call
it's
it.
brick was basically that keep the bit. It's a place where you kind of kept all the bins. So we would either be sitting on the brick wall or like hiding behind the kind of the wee bit of kind of extension bit. You'd be sitting, behind there waiting, throwing bread, waiting for these hours. I'm not even joking. Hours waiting for a bird to land, and years, absolutely years. We've done this for, with everything, different, lids and different things and whatever else. And it was the day before I moved, and we were just messing about and playing football, doing whatever. And there was somebody was throwing out a lamp. So there was a lampshade sitting, and there was an old chain. So we got the lampshade, propped up the lampshade, got the chain on top to weigh this thing down if it landed, if we caught one, so that the bird would be able to fly away. And we managed to bird went underneath, pulled the rope, managed to catch this bird right the last day before we moved out in the close. We managed to catch this bird, and I have never shit myself more than the day that I caught that bird, man. It was flat. I was flat, right? I was petrified of the fact I'd caught this bird. I didn't know what to do. It would probably still be there to this day if it wasn't for the fact that there was people watching this and like, hey, well done, kind of thing. And then obviously I'm pure freaking out, man. Like, don't know what to do. They're like, right, let it go now, whatever, because you just had to let go. And I'm thinking, right, if I lift this thing, it's going to fly right at me. I don't know what it was going to do to me, but so I absolutely petrified. So I think, and even the guy, like one of the closest who keeps the birds, he's hanging out the window, just laughing at us and all that. So we had to. So I think somebody actually had to come out and like pull the lampshade, and obviously it flew away in the other direction. So, so that was my catching pigeon story. But it wasn't just a sad lonely thing that I done. It was quite a common thing.
It's a team effort.
That we were. It was a team effort. It was quite. It was quite a common thing, as much as it sounds quite strange, but. I won't defend it anymore because it is very, very odd. If I'm honest, but at least I'm owning it. You know what I mean? I'm owning it, that's for sure.
It's sort of like fishing, but for pigeons
on land. On land. It's so weird. Catching them and letting them go away. That's for sure because they were, disease ridden. I can't even get near a pigeon now. So it's a weird, strange thing. I don't really know why we've done it, but. It's pastimes one thing. We never had Fortnite back in the day, so we used to try and catch pigeons or doos as we would call them in Scotland. Try and catch a doos. So thanks very much for Ben for the write in and Mrs. Mac on the assist. So yeah, this is. Jeez, I nearly put my eye out with my microphone there. This has been what a time to be alive. This is Pigeons Revenge. What a time to be alive. Thanks again for joining us. This has been the Vault Dwellers podcast, and as you know, as we always say, if you fancy writing in or leaving a nice wee comment or a like, we would appreciate it. We are almost everywhere now. If there's anywhere that we aren't, then let myself or Gary know, and we'll work on getting that RSS feed to any of those different podcasts, because we want to get a wee bit of discoverability out there. We're putting a lot of work into producing these and putting these out, and we love it, absolutely love it. Even if next to nobody listened, it's a good passion project for us. 10 years in the making, and we're not going anywhere soon. So thanks very much for listening, guys, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.
Goodbye, children.
Hi everyone, thanks for listening. This has been the Vault Dwellers podcast. If you'd like to keep up with myself and Mr. Gary Moore, Gary is on Instagram at Gary Moore's Art, and you can find myself over on Twitter and Twitch at MrMac92. And a very special shout out to a very talented artist, our good friend Hoodie, for creating the logos used on the Vault Dweller podcast. Keep up with Hoodie at the Penny Marvels on social media.